Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Gears Pro League Split 3, day number 3. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Jacob Vivi PR. Our last series is going to be a banger, a good one. It's going to be Pittsburgh Knights versus eUnited. A good little rivalry was developed in Split 2 between both of these rosters, and it's going to continue tonight. You better believe it, Jacob.
Yeah, I honestly cannot believe after the first two matches we've witnessed today, we haven't even come across this one here, our match of the day. So honestly, even if this ends in a 3-0, I'm looking for little things here that really separates the two teams and really shows that even though Pittsburgh Knights is undefeated, not losing a single map, that eUnited still has what it takes.
Yeah, Pittsburgh Knights undefeated. Let's talk about the roster because it's 4 members everybody should be very familiar with. Of course, Raver, Dezo, Monkyz, and Fearzly. Fearzly, the new addition, he joined during Split 2, replacing Chaos. Chaos, obviously, we just watched him play a little bit earlier on Abuelos' roster, but Fearzly, a great addition. 3rd place during the major. They did lose quite a bit of times to the eUnited roster during E-Days of Split 2. They also lost during the major to eUnited, but they're looking to get victory here in Pro League, which they did achieve in Split 2 Pro League. They're looking to replicate that here tonight.
Yeah, they definitely have a tall task, though, I will say that. But Raver and Monkyz looking like a great 1-2 punch combo. Spaghetti and meatballs, peanut butter and jelly, it doesn't matter. These guys are the guys to beat here on this team, and that alleviates pressure. You got Fearzly. I will say Fearzly, I don't think he's playing up to his full potential on this roster, which is absolutely scary. And then Dezonide. I feel like Dezonide, when it comes to rolling out a spawn, he can do exactly what he wants because all 3 of his teammates are the perfect teammates for him.
Yeah, Dezo's been deadly. Like, he has been so impressive throughout Pro League and E-Days, or not E-Days, but just Pro League in general. Impressed with him. I really am. That's all I can say. Let's talk about a United roster. You know, Scary, Powerz, TJ, Demise, Dyslexic. 2nd place during the Winter Major, only losing to KCP. But I gotta say, they haven't looked the same in Split 3 that they did in Split 2, Jacob.
Can I make a bold statement that even I barely half believe? I feel like these guys don't have the same care that they do when it comes to just trying to figure out the best way to say this while being nice so I don't destroy anybody's mental game coming to this matchup. But I think they played down. Jacob, I think they played down to their opponent's level. Let's just say that. I think they always played down. This goes to show with that Abuelos map number 5. They feel like they were not necessarily playing with their food, but just for lack of better words, they were playing with their food a little bit. They realized it was time to get serious, and you saw what happened on that game number 5. So even though I'm talking about them playing down, this is going to be a great matchup in this split because Pittsburgh Knights, they're going to have to play up to each other's game.
They are. I mean, this is one of those matchups you can't play down. If you play down, you're going to lose. Plain and simple. You've got to be the dominant team. Pittsburgh Knights is going to be looking to dominate. eUnited's going to be looking to dominate. As far as I'm concerned, this is a very personal matchup for both rosters. I mean, literally, eUnited, I think if there's any team they really want to beat, it's Pittsburgh Knights. And I think Powerz said that in his interview, if I'm not mistaken, as we were, into the Winter Major, we saw that interview. So this is going to be very personal from both regards. And it's going to be made even more personal between our 2 Latin American players, and I'm talking about Dyslexic and Monkyz. Both of these guys have been going head-to-head and neck, including when it comes to stats. And Monkyz is a guy that is one of the stat leaders when it comes to Pro League, and Dyslexic is looking to be just the same. But when you see it, it's kind of interesting. So KDA, Monkyz is back on top. 3.79, guys. That is incredible after week 1. But if you look at damage per 10 minutes, Dyslexic, he's got the number 1 spot, but not by much. You got Monkyz who's just behind him. So, for all intents and purposes, Monkyz seems to be the better player.
I feel like that's like an asterisk. It's kind of hard to tell who's the better 1v1 player when you have a whole army behind you, the army of the Knights, the army of eUnited. When I look at stats like this, to me, it's just they have different ways of going about things. By Monkyz statistics, he plays safe, he plays fast, aggressive, but he knows when and where to attack his opponents. Dyslexic with a KDA like that, but the damage being in first, he's just not scared to get his hands dirty. He's not scared to bulldoze 2, possibly 3 players, even if it means costing him his life. He's not as safe. He's not as, pinpoint when it comes to picking and choosing his battles, but that's the same thing. This whole eUnited roster, they get so aggressive on a whim, and it works out for them, except for that major against KCP. So Pioneers, or it's just not the Pioneers, but the Knights have learned anything, it would be to know that eUnited, they get dirty and they get messy.
The scary thing about that stat line, though, something that needs to be stated, with Monkyz having a 27% kill participation for his team, right? That's impressive. You know, he's getting more than he really should, but he still has a KDA of 3.79. So he's got a KDA of 3.79 with a kill participation of only 27%, Jacob, which means how good are the other PK members in terms of their KDA? Like, it's got to be incredible.
I want to say agree with you. It's got to be incredible because the pressure he's alleviating, but at the same time, maybe Monkyz is just taking all the kills.
No, he's not. But what I'm saying is he's not. Like, that's the thing. He only has a 27% kill participation for his roster, but his KDA is 3.79. You would think with 3.79, I think on any other roster, his kill participation would probably be 40%. But meanwhile, on PK, it's tapered off at 27, which means what I'm getting at is Raver, Dezo, Fearzly, those boys are still slaying out almost equal to that of Monkyz, which is incredible from Pittsburgh Knights' perspective.
Yeah, and it's kind of a scary sight to kind of go up against. And that's why I keep talking about these guys going to have to do everything they can. And before I even really solidify my own prediction, it's picks and bans. I love to see those picks and bans really kind of formulate how the maps are going to play, because you can have maps that very much suit you on the back end of the cycle. You could have maps that suit you at the beginning of the cycle, the middle of the cycle, and you need to know how to play around those maps, which ones you need to go ahead and ban away, like we're going to see. Is you already see Reactor and District, two control maps, getting banned away. Canals and Clock Tower, there goes the executions. And when it comes to Escalation, eUnited says no Harbor.
Yeah, no Harbor. Isn't that interesting? So, fine. And Harbor is one of those things where it's like, is EU the best on it? Maybe with Kenny on the roster, but not necessarily now with Kenny off of the roster. And I think EU excels when it comes to Training Grounds. As far as I'm concerned, Training Grounds is the best possible Escalation map that they can get, and they understand that. So if Training Grounds is in a rotation, that would be fantastic for them. It's Vasgar. It's going to be pretty neck and neck. So TG would be the best option. Speaking of which, let's cut the suspense. What do we got? What do we have for map number 1? Ritual. That's going to be a banger. We constantly harp on Pittsburgh Knights and eUnited being the two best teams on that map. You can throw KCP in there as well. Ephyra Execution map 2. Pittsburgh Knights are great on that map, just like eUnited. So you got two maps that go either which way. But then you got Vasgar. The pick, obviously, eUnited wanted was TG, but they'll take Vasgar too.
Yeah, and honestly, the biggest surprise out of all of it, because I had 4 of these 5 maps in my head: Ritual, Fear, Vasgar, and Tomb. Speyer is actually the one that surprises me. I thought we were going to see Regency in its place, but it goes to show that eUnited is trying to have tricks up their sleeve. In the past couple of years, when we introduced the picks and ban process to Gears of War in general, it's very, very important for these players to have a deep map pool to play on. And eUnited is just testing, making sure that they have a deep map pool.
Gotta have a deep map pool. You know, that's been made apparent throughout all of Gears history. Obviously Gears 5 as well. You can't have a map that you're bad on. And I think both of these rosters have done a great job at, building up their map selection, their map pool, if you will. But this is a great 5 maps before us. Speyer, I agree with you. I think that's going to be the most interesting one from my perspective. I think Pittsburgh Knights are great on that map, but eUnited has been picking Speyer more often than not. So it's going to be quite a bit of fun. I mean, honestly, the top 3 maps, that alone is going to be great. Ritual, Ephyra, Vasgar. It's going to be a battle. Like, it's going to be a massive battle in those top 3 maps.
Yeah, I'm almost even sensing 5 maps. I don't know what side of the fence I'm going to land on just yet. That Speyer really caught me off guard, because I felt like I had it kind of locked in. This team's going to win this map. This team's going to win that map. As they were popping up, I saw Speyer. I don't know.
It's like just totally
that
random.
One caught me in a spin. Yep.
Yeah. Well, who are you going for though?
Let me see. Let me feel. Let me wear my heart on my sleeve when I say this. All right. Got my heart right here. I wear it on my sleeve. Okay. A little heart. That's a little passage. Where you go, I will stay, and where you stay, I will stay. Ruth gave me this little sweetheart, but I wear my heart on my sleeve, and my heart lives and dies eUnited.
I'm going to United.
Powerz is my boy. I got to go ahead and pick a United.
Wow, that's interesting. It's almost like you copied my picks, but chat was actually thinking you were going with Pittsburgh Knights. They were like, hey, we know it. Taylor's going to United. Jacob's going Pittsburgh Knights. That's just the way it's going to go. But you're already breaking the mold. I respect it. Hey, chat, I'm going to United as well. But the reason why I'm going eUnited is because, first and foremost, it's always been very personal between Pittsburgh Knights and eUnited. And eUnited has traditionally, at least in Split 2, they had the mental advantage over Pittsburgh Knights. PK could beat everybody, but they couldn't beat eUnited. Also, eUnited had a rocky start in week 1 of Pro League, but come E-Days, they ended up beating their arch nemesis of Kansas City Pioneers, which I personally feel is going to give them great confidence. And just they beat their boogeyman, KCP, they beat them in grand finals. eUnited had so much hope to win that major. Everybody had them as the favorite, and KCP still won it. So beating KCP, even during an E-Days, had to give them confidence. So eUnited, I think, is going to take this very seriously, and we're going to see the best of Powerz and Co come out. Chad, who are you going for, eUnited or Pittsburgh Knights? I think this is the one where we're going to be different. I'm pretty certain chat's going to be going Pittsburgh Knights, but I could be wrong. Wow, they're going, okay, eUnited. My 11,000 channel points helped.
I'm actually a little surprised there on this one, but at the same time, a little bit more to why I picked eUnited. Something I said early on, eUnited typically plays to their opponent's level. I use the phrasing, they play down to their opponent's level because a lot of their opponents this season have been those lesser opponents, but they also play up to their opponent. They play and like to match that fire with fire. And I think this is the wake-up call that eUnited needs. I don't think it's going to be an easy matchup. The possibility is very, very real of it being a 5-game series. But I think eUnited has what it takes.
I think they do. But I also feel Pittsburgh Knights do as well. This is one of those, kind of toss-up matches. Pittsburgh Knights are in first place for a reason. Monkyz has a 3.7 plus KDA for a reason. And he only has 27% of the kill participation for his roster because the rest of the roster PK are just incredible. They had one of the best showings in week 1 as far as I'm concerned. So Pittsburgh Knights are looking scary. And in Pro League, they always turn up. Like, this is where they really, truly turn up. And eUnited knows that personally because they've lost to Pittsburgh Knights in Split 2 during Pro League. So this isn't E-Days, right? This isn't Major. This is Pro League. So this is where Pittsburgh Knights are going to be feeling comfortable. And this is going to be a big win for them and a big matchup. Now, before we do get started, Chad, I know you've been asking all night about the painting. I'm going to go ahead and show it if you don't mind. Okay? BFL, shout out to you if you're out there.
So beautiful.
Is that not just freaking gorgeous?
It's honestly so beautiful. I debate having it in my house. Like, I would never want a picture of you in my house, but I think that would be the one.
I'm above the mantle place, right? Above the fireplace. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're having Christmas, your family's over. They're like, who is that fine gentleman?
I would be okay to it.
I'm just saying.
Maybe all 4 casters on my wall. I could put it here. Let me picture Colin, myself.
Could you imagine what BFL's been saying? Like, who should I do next? Why not do all 4? No, why not do all 4 of us?
Because like a family portrait at the same time. What is he, Goro with 4 hands? He has to do one at a time.
How do I know? By the way, shout out to Goro.
That is true. He's a dangerous man of years.
All 4, like all of us, all 4 of there, like just across the way, and have me be the tallest. Like, we could really make this work, Jacob.
Just looking at the picture more and more, it just makes me feel less and less talented. Because I can't do that. I couldn't even take a picture and it looked that good.
I'm telling you, like, it'd be blurry. Right, it'd be all over the place. You'd have your thumb in front of the the lens. Okay, like I get it. Like I can't take pictures like this either. But I mean, it's perfect.
Exactly.
I love it. I really do.
A little bit more handsome, I would say. He did a much better job than the real you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a picture. Sometimes we do that.
That's okay. I'll take that. Honestly, I'm okay with that. Like this thing, it's not going to get any better than this. It's all downhill for me for this. Okay, but this will always stay eternal. This will always stay glorious.
That is true. It's going to end up in a museum somewhere one day.
It is, and I hope it does.
Museum.
I hope it does. It's going to be at your local museum with the population of 800 people, okay? And it's going to be there, and someone is going to be driving by like, yeah, I want to check out this random museum. And then they're like, who's that? And then the plaque is going to be covered in dust. You won't know who it is, but I'll still be there. It's going to be glorious.
Can you imagine whoever wins the final major, instead of a trophy, they get hand painted art, bro. I would take that.
Instead of this, honestly, that would be cool.
Here.
That would be cool.
I would take it, bro. That's what
I need to turn this.
How much it costs?
Into an NFT.
Oh my.
I'm just saying. What's wrong with that? Now,
I don't know, man. You just said NFT. I'm just gone, bro.
Should I put this back there on the setup? It's looking pretty barren back there.
It should have been back there. Either that or somewhere in the entrance of your house, so no one can enter your house without knowing that you're the king of your domain.
Just straight up, bro. As soon as you enter the house, like, this is me. This is what you're getting. All of this. I love it. Hey, BFL, shout out to you, brother. Make sure you post in chat. Seriously. And he is open for commissions. Thank you. He is open for commissions. If you guys want anything like this, I'm telling you. And I think he does have a couple of vinyls left. So love it. I really do. Big fan of it. And a big supporter of the Gears community, alongside obviously Bleach for Brains and just everybody out there. Shout out to all of you guys. It was an incredibly nice thing. I've never had anybody, draw a picture of me. He did. He took the risk, and it turned out pretty well. Turned out pretty good. So, and I did buy it off of him. I want that to be known. He made it. I bought it off of him because I loved it. I was impressed, and it was good. Enough about me. All right, isn't that crazy? Enough about me. Let's talk about the series, baby. Map number 1, we've got Ritual Control. Pittsburgh Knights, eUnited. Jacob, this series means a lot. It could very well determine the head-to-head at the end for who gets first and who gets second.
Honestly, it could determine some seedings down the line. It could determine some extra money in the pockets. There's so much on the line, and it's surprising because what is this, week 2, day 3? We're still at the starting line when it comes to this split, as Dezonide trying to give his team that great start. Flash over the top, great back A's, and the shot's gonna be landed. Demise and TJ, they meet their maker. Back on the respawn they go, but Powerz, El Capitan, the king himself, firing back.
All right, Monkyz also looking to fire back himself, but Dezo is going to be able to get the cleanup on 2, and Dezo will also get the torque bow for his good effort. Well done. First team fight goes to the way of Pittsburgh Knights.
On the hands of Dezonide. First blood player of the game, trying to line up the second one. Miss, gets some splash damage, quickly up A's, getting the down, and I love how he doesn't overstay his welcome. Just gets the damage, gets the spot, and repositions because he knows they're going to enter into this battle as he tries to put the shot. Great frags from TJ, shots from Powerz. So 3 up, 3 down from PK, leaving Fearzly as the last man left, and I might have cursed him too because he's back on the respawn to join his amigos.
All right, eUnited might be getting a bit of a foothold early on. They will tie up things about 23-23. Demise currently in the hill. He'll get contested one more time against the scary Monkyz, right? With a 3.7 KDA. I mean, just spectacular in every fashion. And if you would want to talk about it, eUnited, they have Powerz, right? You want to shut him down. You want to isolate him. And we have quite literally seen that as a win condition. Look no further than the Winter Major Grand Finals where KCP isolated him quite well. But you can make the argument that Monkyz is kind of in the same realm.
Back-to-back doubles from TJ when it comes for those frag grenades. Already being a defining force, not only locking down the power weapons, but using them oh so perfect. 2 frags, 4 kills. Powerz bleeding, Monkyz out in the middle, overstepping his boundaries, and I know what he was thinking. He's just trying to disrupt them and not allow them to rotate inward, but that's actually going to cost him and allow a 4v3 to take place. Oh my God.
3 United up 44-27, Jacob, but Pittsburgh Knights will have a good foothold on the current hill. United obviously looking for the break, but they're not able to get close. Good team fire in conjunction between Fearzly and Raver. Dyslexic tries to clear that corner out, but Fearzly spots him out, takes him down. And with the United's numbers dwindling, they're going to be way out. But look at how far Pittsburgh Knights are pushing. Look at how far Fearzly is pushing into eUnited.
That's the type of Fearzly we did need to see, though. The same type of Fearzly that got him this roster spot onto the Pittsburgh Knights is Raver trying to sneak a player, and he does so to perfection. Dyslexic goes down. Demise is going to fall. TJ grabs the torque bow and rotates on around the map, but they're just trying to get the power weapons one after the next. They get the torque bow. Now they get the frags. Even though they don't have the position of the actual hill, they have everything else.
TJ, might be an opportunity. He takes it, but quickly dropped. Pittsburgh Knights team fire has been on point. Like, you cannot deny that. Powerz will throw out the nade, and the nades have been incredibly deadly. I think more deadly now than all of the series combined, right? That we've seen tonight, whether it be TJ or Powerz. One thing is for certain, eUnited knows their lanes and knows their lineups. Pittsburgh Knights up 63-44 though, and eUnited will look to tie things up just a little bit. Monkyz is going to be isolated by himself at a 1v2. Misroll will put him down.
That's not going to help the 3.5A KDA. That man is sporting. The rest of eUnited forced to backtrack, and rightfully so. It's that push and pull game. You backtrack, allow your teammates and reinforcements to get there, and then now with flashes, you're going to push on back as TJ. He gets that first blood onto Dezo, back to back with the help of Dyslexic. Get not one, not two, not even three, but the whole squad down and out. The silver lining, though, is Dezonide somehow, some way, he got the close respawn, but the rest of the team aren't going to get it because eUnited quickly swarmed to take him out once more.
74-68. Scoreline is closed, but eUnited takes a rare lead. Pittsburgh Knights had a great start, a good showing at the beginning. Things could quickly change, though. Scoreline is so close that it can go either which way. Pittsburgh Knights have a difficult task of breaking the current hill. This is a hill that is always difficult to break. You need somebody to kind of be there on your flank, and Fearzly is looking to do so, but Fearzly is also going to be met to another 1v1, which he will take and win to his credit, but not enough points remain on the current hill for Pittsburgh Knights to justify pushing through. We see them rotate up towards Temple and then ultimately get that torque bow, which means they're going to be focused on the next hill shortly.
And what Dezonide does here to stay alive is so important because it's basically torque bow versus frag grenades. I'm just trying to see, did the frag grenades get taken out? I want to believe they might have, or maybe they're just about to come up in a few short seconds. Either way, for now, they're not in possession of anybody on the side of eUnited, which is going to allow Pittsburgh Knights to slowly but surely, especially with the splash damage, try to creep in. And the way Dezonide has his teammates there, ready to capitalize on the splash damage, or a straight elimination like that is perfect.
All right, maybe some more lineups too. You got Powerz and a couple more victims from eUnited just up ahead. Powerz will get behind cover just in the nick of time. Dezo pushing into the hill with the torque bow is a bit risky because now you're putting yourself up close to get killed, and well, that's what ends up happening, Jacob. The torque bow now will go to waste. TJ will pick up the fresh nades, and eUnited's lead is starting to grow.
Waiting a few seconds to see if they're able to kind of double up the score line, and honestly, it looks like that is going to be a major possibility. And you see the spread. Demise and TJ locking down the actual hill. Powerz kind of stretching on one side of the map. Dyslexic stretching on the other, which is making the Pittsburgh Knights watch every single inch of their back and not really knowing where to push forward from. So this is an eUnited, like I keep saying. They play up to their opponent's level, and they're playing so far up there in the clouds.
United, like I said, this is going to be a personal matchup, and you can see that coming into full force here as United are swarming every chance they can get onto Pittsburgh Knights. The aggression is real, and even in this moment, right, you see players 5 and 8, Raver and Monkyz, forced to back up as quickly as they can because they know that players 1, 2, and 3, Powerz, TJ, and Dyslexic are on the hunt. They are pushing aggressively in, and TJ in the corner with the nades. Pittsburgh Knights have to play this carefully. If Monkyz or Raver push in thinking they've got some free real estate to just, you know, aggressively full send it into Dyslexic and go, that nade could dismantle them quickly.
He has to know in this situation, he is going to get flashes thrown at him. He's going to get smokes thrown at him. So he's just kind of hoping that nobody knows he's in this position. And there it goes, just like you said, frag grenade going out, trying to counter the flash, and it's going to be a dud for now. It's a big tool for offense on the side of TJ. Is going to be down and out, but he's doing a good job maneuvering around, but he meets his match. Dyslexic, TJ go down. Raver gets dropped, but only for a few seconds. The reinforcements are there to get the revive, and Powerz, he gets sent to the respawn as well, as Pittsburgh Knights slowly but surely climbing back into this game.
Yeah, 30 points, not going to be a lot, but I mean, I'll take anything, right? Because eUnited, their lead is staggering, more than 100 points even now over Pittsburgh Knights. That nade from TJ, it was well placed, I thought, but PK saw it coming. They knew he had it in his hands, and therefore they were able to easily avoid it, but that nade could have very well stopped the push before it even began. 103 points up is going to be eUnited. We're about to transfer towards the new hill. Dezo is going to be fighting tooth and nail now against Powerz, and Co is going to be up ahead. Powerz has no choice but to push forward. He knows a flank is coming. He will drop. In the meantime, he's gone. It's now going to be a 3v3, it seems, onto the new hill, which eUnited is at. And Jacob, eUnited has been one step ahead of PK in terms of rotations.
Just saying, that spawn that PK just got, they get a split 2-2 spawn. They're trying to advance in this 4v3 while they have that major advantage. TJ lines up yet another one. Dezonide is going to be the only one taken down to the Pittsburgh Knights as he ends his own life, as Raver gets one on a Demise. Back and forth. Powerz trying to even it up, but he gets taken down. Great flank yet again. Fearzly and Raver Raver working together to perfection to lock down the hill. And you can already see the spread in the mini-map. They have a straight line locked down, both the spawn point and the actual hill. So eUnited, they have to pick and choose which fight they want to go for.
This hill is incredibly important for Pittsburgh Knights. They've already cut that lead from 103 now down to less than 100, make that just 80 or so points away. For Pittsburgh Knights, plenty of time remains. 40 seconds on this hill to put them at about 150 or so. Very doable to come back. It looks as if momentum might be shifting just a bit. Pittsburgh Knights feeling a bit more confident. They're pushing fights, they're winning, but Dyslexic is going to dismantle that just when Pittsburgh Knights look as if they're starting to come back. Dyslexic dismantles the hill and puts up one hell of a fight, even being his own self inside. TJ now is there, even though Pittsburgh Knights are getting the cleanups. What looked to be almost a guaranteed 40 or so points going their way turns down to just be about 25 or 30.
Two team fights. Two big team fights. First one is going to solidify the actual hill. The second one is going to be the one to kind of get the points and hold on to it, get the lead, or as much of it as back as possible, as Dyslexic lives there, not taking too much splash damage. Powerz trying to hide, and you see the trigger discipline, not shooting until he knows nobody else is around. They get the shots, take down Fearzly, and get the position onto the hill. So for PK, that first team fight, it's going to take a little bit longer than they expected for them to win.
eUnited, 69 points remaining on this hill, Jacob. They could take a lead past 250, which would definitely put PK in a pretty worrisome spot. And I think at this point, they are in a worrisome spot as it is. So they've got to fight extra hard. Monkyz sends a torque flying. Unfortunately, it's only going to amount to splash damage. And Fearzly can't confidently push 40. Knows it's going to be a 1v3. So maybe we'll wait for Raver with the nades to push up, and who knows if he's going to have an effect. Meanwhile, eUnited's going to take matters into their own hands. They're going to push up. Dodges at least one nade. Raver, though, he can't pump the brakes. He's got to push forward. In the meantime, though, there's going to be a nice little flank, though. Powerz is going to sniff it out. See it. He's going to be full red. He'll drop. That was a big battle for that current hill. Honestly, could have been a lot worse for PK. So well done for them keeping the hill contested and taking it over when they did.
That was a great audible there coming out from Raver. He was trying to go for a flank. He realized he bit off more than he can chew, but instead of just swallowing and choking, he spit it out and made a quick rotation to the rest of his team, which caused a distraction on the side of eUnited, but one distraction leads to another. This time it's on the favor of eUnited. Powerz towards the back line, forcing everybody to turn around, and they forget what's in front of them. The rest of this squad as they get the scrap time, but it's not going to be too much. Or at least not too much for the Knights to worry about as you see them rotating, trying to get their position for next. But they're not only slitting themselves on the hill, they're going deep into the spawn to take as much of that real estate as possible.
249 to 160, Jacob. I'm liking what I'm seeing from eUnited. Pittsburgh Knights, though, are a scrappy team, and they're never out until you fully put them down. It's kind of the same way about Team Queso, right? We're kind of highlighting their composure. Well, PK's got composure that they need to potentially come back here. After all, not too much kind of separates them, but either way, eUnited starts to fall off. TJ's going to be inside the, or at least current location to rotate over towards the next hill. Fearzly was booking it, and Fearzly will be there. What do you think the chances are PK comes back? I don't know. I mean, it's like eUnited starts to garner a bit of a lead, but you got to think off the past, 2 or 3 hills, eUnited's only got about 40 points.
So at this stage in the game, it's concerning, but at the same time, it's not, because they're probably sacrificing a lot of points for position, realizing they have such a massive lead, or at least at one stage or another, that lead's going to get dropped down to only 60. Raver gets caught on the rotation. Nobody from eUnited is going to let him survive as Dezonide gets dropped. Monkyz soon to follow. Fearzly with the pressure mounting gets taken down by Powerz yet again, who in every single matchup for eUnited just inserts his will onto his opponents.
Oh, 260
the frags. Now. Oh no, TJ's got at least 12 kills with him.
Bro,
Not really, but really.
No, I agree. He's had 13 kills. 12 of those have been frags, and then one has only been for a random snub shot that he sent flying, okay, where he got the finish. No, I mean, but seriously, TJ has been deadly with those nades, and what an opportunity to use them. At most, that's at least going to separate them.
Yep.
Pittsburgh Knights, I like that they push out because you got to take eUnited out early on. But, I mean, like, if they lose this fight, oh, and also, look, eUnited's going to be inside the hill. Player 3's there, but he's only by himself.
Yeah, just kind of cursed him there, talking about great usage of the grenades. Back-to-back duds when they needed them most. which is going to give up the control of the hill and the position on over to the Knights, but they're chasing Dyslexic deep. Can they get back in time to help Dezonide as he's going to have to leave the hill? They have enough personnel here to take the advantage, but will they be able to hold on to it? And there goes the headshot. Demise falls shortly after. Powerz full red. He's going to get dropped. 281, 206. Pittsburgh Knights are trying to mount the comeback, and it starts here.
We've seen a lot of them tonight, so it wouldn't surprise me if
That's
PK
facts.
does come back and keep this competitive and keep it close. I mean, again, they're a team that will not go down without a fight, and 40 points on this hill, Jacob, could put them just, less than 20 points away from eUnited. 100% doable, and they've got a good foothold here. eUnited are going to try and split up 2-2. Now, their biggest fight that they can win is going to be against player 7 of Fearzly, and that's going to be either TJ or Dyslexic to take them down. Fearzly drops, so now eUnited can pincer the remaining 3 members inside the current hill.
Dwarves.
Nice shot.
Down to the wire. That was a fantastic shot. Missed it there for a second, but kill feed kind of lets me know that he did connect with it. See, they're still just fighting over scrap time. That's only 6 seconds.
Gotta fight for it, though. I mean,
Well
hey,
played.
at the end of the day, I mean, look, that puts eUnited at 290, okay? That puts the pressure even more on Pittsburgh Knights, but they got the fresh hill. They got the fresh hill. It quite honestly comes down to this. Now, 11 points for eUnited. Pittsburgh Knights, they need to hold on tight. Fearzly giving it his all, peppering every eUnited member currently inside the hill. Dezo doing the same from down low. Dyslexic lasts alive for eUnited in the hill. PK wins it.
This is more than enough time to be victorious in the overall matchup. It just makes it to where you have to stay on the pressure. You can't let up off the gas, and don't let that tank go empty. Frag grenades in the hands of Dezonide. Throws it over the top. Not able to connect with TJ. Does get the down, though, which isn't too good, but you see Monkyz trying to take advantage. Frag grenade to displace the member yet
Jacob.
again. They take down TJ. Oh.
Jacob, it's happening. It's unless Powerz has single-handedly derailed Pittsburgh Knights from winning on this very map, on this very hill, and he's got to do it now. If eUnited fails this push, ladies and gentlemen, PK will win map number 1. Powerz, though, is going to get a headshot. Gets a headshot on Fearzly. 5 points away from victory is going to be PK. He'll send one flying randomly. Raver in the corner. He's got to go. Dezo, he's got to go. This is a must-win fight. They're not going to win it. PK, 300 to 289, and a comeback once again for tonight will happen. PK up 1-0 in the series.
Do you believe in magic in PK's heart? Because they just made magic happen right before our very eyes. I know I was talking about Doctor Strange to start the day, but they're Doctor Strange all in one.
Bro, all night, Jacob. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, we're over here, like, calling it. At this point, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of going, can a team do it? Because, yeah, they can clearly. See, Team Queso do it, all right? We've seen, well, I don't think Rebel really did it because they were just kind of doing their own thing, winning. But, I mean, we have seen so many miraculous comebacks tonight, and Pittsburgh Knights will be no exception. That loss has to hurt so much for eUnited.
Can I tell you it's about to get scarier? It's about to get even more scary because history has one thing to say about map number 2. PK absolutely loves execution. Usually they lose the first map and they start their comeback campaign on execution. But let's see that comeback one more time. I don't think I got enough of that comeback.
I mean, dude, it's so good because, PK had to fight so hard. At one point, guys, they were down 103 points. 103 points, and eUnited was cruising to victory. TJ was hitting every single nade. Powerz was popping off. Dyslexic was breaking hills and just dismantling Pittsburgh Knights. Like, they looked like they were outclassing PK. I mean, it looked like, a typical matchup we would see between eUnited and Pittsburgh Knights from Split 2, but it turned to be anything but that because of the final hill. And you got to give credit to Fearzly, who really opened that last hill, wide. I mean, he hit the shots he needed to hit, and it truly was miraculous. I mean, even here, 195 to 92, Jacob, that lead didn't truly taper off until, like, the very end.
You just, man, and I don't want to make this joke, but, like, they really let up off the gas at the worst possible time, and even Dezo missing shots like that in way of coming back really just shows it was really teamwork overall. PK did not really let anybody fight too many individual battles. On the side of eUnited, they were getting staggered out, they were getting separated, and they kind of forgot how they were playing in the first half.
Oh man, first and foremost, I talked about Fearzly, right, doing his thing, and getting that shot on Dyslexic and then coming down. Even though he didn't pick up the first kill, he picks up the second and actually gets Dyslexic in the end. I thought there was hope here though, because Powerz hit that beautiful heady on the Fearzly. They get the break, but then Raver and Dezo hold their ground and just close it out. And that's what's so scary about that final hill is just PK, you could see it. They started coming back. They started coming back. And before you know it, eUnited's like, ooh, we might lose this. And then we're like, ooh, they might lose this. And then they did. And I saw Rusty Diggs in chat. Comeback is super unlikely here. EU is too good on this map and game type. If PK comes back, EU has problems. And well, I don't know if EU has problems per se. I can't go that far, but
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
They got came back on, bro. They got the running man did on him like NC Hammer, bro. What do you mean there's not a problem? There's a major problem going down on eUnited. Up 103, like you said. That's a major problem.
Problems on Team Queso. Problems on Team Queso. I don't know if there's problems here, okay? But hey, Jacob. They might have some problems, but I think that's too early to say. Too early to say. But regardless of Pittsburgh Knights, that composure's there. They didn't, they just stayed in it. And I love that. I love that about that roster. I really do. Speaking of which, I'm going to look at the stats here. Actually, you know what? I mean, Powerz had a hell of a game, 17 and 15, but 21,000 damage done. He had the most in the entire lobby, but across the board collectively for Pittsburgh Knights, they pretty much had the most damage done, obviously. But when you're talking about how many points? 11 points that separate the two, it just kind of comes down to just who pulled up in the end and who really wanted it more, and that was Pittsburgh Knights.
I just would get reminded of that meme where it's just like, y'all had us in the first half, not gonna lie. That's Pittsburgh Knights right there. They were shaky. It was looking scary, but you should have never doubted them along the way. But that's no surprise to me, and it should be no surprise to you, because we both agreed the potential for this to go 5 straight games is through the roof. This is our match of the night, and let me tell you guys, you are not going to be disappointed, especially after that first map.
I don't think you would be disappointed, honestly, with a 3-0 either. And the reason why I say that is because this series has the potential, even with a 3-0, to be incredibly close, much like the map number 1 was, 300 to 289. Ephyra is going to be just as explosive. Ephyra has been an excellent execution map for Pittsburgh Knights, as well as for eUnited. eUnited was the first team to really dictate the meta and the ebb and flow of what Ephyra was. And they've got Powerz, who loves to fight for the torque bow. They've got TJ, who's consistently going to be fighting pretty much by himself. He's going to be fighting for the drop shot. Pittsburgh Knights, though, are a roster that likes to kind of overload the drop shot side, which could put pressure on TJ and effectively give first blood. When you do that, you're giving up the torque bow, but you're also getting first blood and you're getting a drop shot, which obviously has tremendous power. We've seen it, it's an incredibly powerful weapon, and you have 2 shots in execution as opposed to the one that you have, obviously on district control. But Pittsburgh Knights do another great thing, and that's Monkyz, who's on the outside of Hotel, and he loves to help Raver. Dyslexic is going to consistently be in a 2v1, Jacob.
Yeah, but there's one thing you kind of mentioned, but you mentioned it very light, like you just barely sprinkled the seasoning on it. Where you need to know there's more than just seasoning there. You're saying they're gonna get the torque bow. They're gonna get the torque bow like it's nothing, right? And I can agree with you. If it was me with the torque bow, go ahead and let me have it. If it's you with the torque bow, heck, I'll give you 4 of them. It's not gonna do anything else. But it's Powerz with the torque bow. And we know how dangerous he can be, because being one of the last players alive with that torque bow, we've seen him already make miracles happen. So he really has to rise up to the occasion here and take away this execution map, which we've already discussed. That's the Pittsburgh Knights specialty, is execution.
It is. It tends to be anyways, and it kind of consistently has been. Normally we think checkout, but Ephyra has grown on me from the perspective of Pittsburgh Knights. I really do thoroughly enjoy watching Pittsburgh Knights and eUnited play on Ephyra, because again, they kind of lead the meta, and they've been doing so since the map was added into the competitive rotation for execution. And that's why I assume this map is going to be very close. But the reality is, though, Vasgar is not a guarantee for eUnited, Jacob. I think we can agree on that. It's not, and it's going to be too close to count. So this now becomes and I hate to use this because it's such an umbrella term, but I'm going to stand by it. It's this is a must-win map for eUnited because Vasgar's not guaranteed. So how hard do you want to work in map number 3? That's going to be dictated by how hard eUnited plays in this map number 2, again, with no guarantees there. I think my biggest issue is, again, going to be TJ being isolated, because he's not going to get a lot of help. At least I don't think he will, unless Demise tends to help him. But you can't let Dyslexic also be alone, because Raver and Monkyz are going to be pushing him. And if they kill Dyslexic, then all of a sudden, Powerz could be in a 1v3. And nobody wants that either. That could be two, first blood and then second blood going to the way of PK. So eUnited's got to play this appropriately.
Yeah, and it's got to be very, very careful of how they tread through, because one thing that history has kind of proven to us time and time again with their grand finals performances is PK is a very emotionally driven team. And the reason why I bring that up is because you just came back on eUnited. Your emotions have to be so positive right now, feeling like you can conquer the world. And that's where I kind of put, some red flags up, and I like you use the term umbrella term for an occasion, because one thing that we know is sometimes when it rains, it pours. So hopefully they have that umbrella to really kind of keep themselves dry in this matchup, because the Pittsburgh Knights are one mean storm, really trying to take over this entire matchup. And if they go up 2-0, you'd be crazy. Even though eUnited is very, very good on Vasgar, to think the potential of a 3-0 shutout isn't going to linger in the back of everyone's minds.
Yeah, you do have the wild card of Speyer. Speyer is going to be map number 4 if we get that far. So that could very well be the turning point potentially for eUnited. But, Pittsburgh Knights have been a great Speyer team too. But I do believe eUnited beat Pittsburgh Knights on Speyer in the major, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't have the stats before me. But it's just something that kind of rings a bell. But with that being said, I mean, this map 2 is just it's really everything as far as I'm concerned. It's the most important win for eUnited in this series personally. But we'll see how that's going to, work out. I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to eUnited, who I do feel have had more issues in split 3 than they did in split 2. And I kind of attest that to them losing grand finals against KCP. I think that hurt them a lot. I do. I think that hurt them quite a bit, because they went from the favorites to second place. And that major meant a lot to Powerz, to Dyslexic, to TJ, to Demise. Like that major really meant a lot to them. And the fact that they got so close and they ended up losing it, I think it hurt them quite a bit. I really do. And, eUnited's, and also, honestly, I thought it would hurt PK even more, getting third place. But clearly they've recovered. So it's up to eUnited to recover from that, which I thought they did after KCP. But let me not get carried away. There was only 11 points, Jacob, from map 1. Only 11 points. But it really was the comeback that hurt more so than the 11-point loss.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. 11 points, but it's so much that as much as the 100+ points that they came back. And you were even saying it yourself during the course of the matchup. eUnited is slowing down, and I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, saying sacrifice 2 seconds to gain 20 seconds, give and take. It's very, very important in terms of Gears of War. But man, were they just giving and not taking over to the Pittsburgh Knights, and even to that very, very last second push. With Powerz getting the twerk bow, he has the opportunity to splash damage. Multiple players of eUnited just getting too aggressive, too quick, getting too much damage, and they just instantly get taken out and don't allow the power weapon to actually be put to use. But I kind of understand it on the flip side as well. Timing's not on your side. You feel the pressure to have to go. In this one, eUnited, they're definitely feeling a different kind of pressure in this execution match.
Definitely feeling the pressure without question. When Chick-fil-A sauce isn't available, ranch is absolutely acceptable. And I think coming into this, you have to have Monkyz really pop off on the outside of the hotel fight. He's got to come in. He's got to help Raver take down Dyslexic. That could be the turning point to me. Killing Powerz, getting him off of that torque bow. You mentioned how scary he can be with it. And I agree with you, Jacob. But again, TJ is going to be another guy that I'm going to be looking at, because he might get isolated. But hey, map number 2, this is the turning point as far as I'm concerned. eUnited, they must win. Will they get it, Jacob? Let's find out. Map 2, execution on Ephyra, coming your way.
Jumping on board Dyslexic right meow, and see if he's going to push up and get as aggressive as we normally see him do. But he's trying to let Raver go in first, but that was the same thing that hurt him. Powerz trying to make the play. He gets taken out, but trades are going to be the name of the game. Revives are going to be forced out, as it does look like eUnited might live to tell the tale, but the Lancer Fire has not slowed down. It has not stopped, and it's causing them to get dropped right before our very eyes. And Dyslexic, with no downs left, last one alive, hops over the cover and goes face to face with Mr. Monkyz himself.
Mr. Monkyz, man, he is scary. He really is. And none scarier than that final engagement. 2 kills to Dezo. Raver got the first blood against Dyslexic. And I mentioned multiple points where there could be tension between Pittsburgh Knights and eUnited, or maybe even a win condition for PK. Well, in that round number 1, it was isolating a hotel fight, which PK did quite well.
Come around. Switching it up. In the different side of this fray as Dyslexic throws it in. Too much Lancer fire. TJ trying to come in, and it's because he's weak as well. Everybody from eUnited getting tossed, turned upside down, and PK trying to take advantage. They spot a player going down low. They try to take the 3v2, and it almost cost them. They lose 2 players on the side of eUnited, but they gain 1 and a torque bow on the side of Powerz.
All right, so this is the storyline I was also setting up. Powerz with the torque bow, Pittsburgh Knights with the drop shot. Now, I agree with you, man. Powerz with the torque bow can be, I mean, just incredibly scary, but the reality is he's also in a 3v2, and does he know Raver's just behind him? Oh, he spots him. Oh!
That was rude. That was so rude. I love it. They literally waited 4 days, 6 hours, and 12 seconds for everybody to get in the perfect position.
Did he just walk up and just send that flying?
Yeah, he did, bro. They can do whatever they want. 2-0. They're really making eUnited second guess because to start that match off, they stuffed Dyslexic short. DJ was just trying to live on a prayer and go to his teammates. He gets taken out regardless. And there goes that play you were talking about. Just walks up. Let me just blind fire. This one's easy. This one's done and over with.
Wow. 2 excellent rounds from Pittsburgh Knights' perspective. I mean, genuinely excellent. Raver died in round 1, didn't die in round 2. I think there's still some members on PK who haven't died. Monkyz being one of them. Probably Dezo. No, Dezo has died, actually. Powerz didn't take... Ooh. Hotel fight, seeing so much action. This is a hotel I do not want a room in. Cheesy joke over with. Dezo picking up another. It's a 1v1. Dezo versus TJ.
Yeah, Dezo's making the smart play, though. He knows there's so much space between him and his opponent. He can grab the torque bow for free, but likewise, mirrored strategies from both of these players. They're running away from the 1v1, not because they're scared, because they want to just put more firepower underneath their belt. Torque bow versus drop shot. That's in my head. I gotta think drop shot can take it, but we've seen some blunders when it comes to that weapon before.
We have, you know, very recently too. But TJ, you got to respect him. You have to respect him in this moment. And such a big round, such a huge round for eUnited to get 2-1. Dezo is going to be rolling up. Doesn't know TJ's got. Oh, Nash, you're out. Yo, this is clean. This is. Oh, yo, you know how close that round.
God, bro.
Bro.
You have cat to be kidding me right now, bro.
Bro,
it has me scared. It has me on the edge of my seat. I know you can't see it, but it's the only way my feet will touch the ground, and they're touching the ground right now.
I believe that. But Jacob, like, watch the TJ just about goofed. Like, TJ
heard him at the very last second when he switched weapons.
TJ nearly goofed there, bro. Imagine losing. Like, that would have been it. But he doesn't lose it. TJ wins it. And check it out. It's going to be 2-1. Hotel fight once again underway. This time, though, it's a bit stagnated. More stagnated than we've seen.
First down on Dyslexic. They know they can't get the elim, so they're getting position. Dyslexic knows Powerz is the target. They have to find the green light somewhere else, and Powerz almost make it happen. He does, actually. He gets the elim onto Raver. 3v2, almost like deja vu, and even switched weapons. TJ getting the drop shot, torque bow going over to Dezo, and let's see what they can do, because last time we seen it, it was Pittsburgh Knights with the advantage, 3v2 with the drop shot, and they were able to come out with a victory.
Okay, Dezo. Oh, he lined it up, but he didn't send the shot flying. I don't think he had the active, unfortunately. So for TJ, he'll go ahead and continue to back up, hugging the corner of the map. Don't blame him for doing so. I really don't. TJ with the drop shot could be scary, but big turning point for eUnited, Jacob.
Yeah, one thing here is Dezonide's going to need to pre-rev the torque bow, because that drop shot's going to come at you quicker than you think, and I told you, pre-revs it. Was looking for Dyslexic, but gets one on the Demise. Drop shot over the top. TJ helping just in the nick of time, not letting Dyslexic take it on his own, as the half will kind of end 2-2.
Well done, eUnited. They've answered back after an incredible start for Pittsburgh Knights. Incredible start. This shot, though, man, that shot. would have had me puckering up, brother. I'm going to be honest with you. But Dyslexic getting the drop and then the drop shot coming out from TJ, that was great communication and good foresight on TJ's part to understand Dyslexic was putting him in a position to obviously send the drop shot flying and connect. Well done. So that lead for PK, that great start, now gone. eUnited's back in the running again.
TJ just getting aggressed on right now by Fearzly. Tries to fire back, but Fearzly gets the elim. Instead of going for the drop shot, he's immediately trying to flank the inside. He knows Powerz and the rest of eUnited have no place to go but forward, and they're all going to get dropped regardless. Pittsburgh Knights once again take the go-ahead round to end the 2-round streak of EU.
All right, there it is. You said in the 2-round streaks. Fair enough. 3-2. Dezo, the top of the food chain now in terms of kills, with 7 his way. He's been playing very well. Very well indeed. And even has that first blood to boot. I think Raver might have one himself, but we're going to keep our eyes on Dezo, see what he's up to. And obviously, he's been the guy challenging Powerz down low. Not an easy fight to take. It's really not, but inaudible. He's going to go ahead and dive towards mid. Powerz might be making this call out, but Dezo's going to continue to commit.
You see Dyslexic. Want to see in that moment if he's going to try to back off this fight, but he cannot try to back down. He was just trying to put the fire down for his teammates and make it easier for them. But Powerz with the team kill, taking out his fallen friend, and he's going to go ahead and meet him straight there. 4-2. PK once again getting the momentum to chain together 2 rounds. And if you guys are just joining us, map number 1, PK, they complete the comeback of the split so far to take map number 1. So if they take this one, they'll be sitting tall with a 2-0 lead.
Powerz committed for the 1v1 against Dezo. Dezo doesn't give him that 1v1, Jacob. He cuts back into Hotel, and what an impact he had. Getting first blood, followed up with the second, and ultimately that was a 4v2. PK clinically gets the cleanups. I mean, just incredible performance. This time around, Dezo's going to back up. He's continually keeping Powerz and anybody who takes that bottom end guessing. But eUnited puts an audible themselves. They all go down low, Jacob. We haven't seen this from them yet.
No. That just goes to show they know they cannot keep fighting that same fight with Pittsburgh Knights always having the advantage, and they just want to switch it up all together. First blood's going to make it that much easier, and you can see the marks going down all around. They're going to spot out Monkyz and probably yell that call out because he's such a defining factor with that drop shot in hand as Powerz gets spotted out on the other side. The defining factor with the torque bow for eUnited. The dust will settle, things will slow down, and we'll have ourselves a good old-fashioned 3v3.
Oh, man, I love it. 3v3 for eUnited. This is the swing round as far as I'm concerned. Bring it 4-3. Be pretty massive on their perspective. Dyslexic, the key playmaker, though, as we hop on board with him. Fearzly might spot. No! Dyslexic misses the shot. He's forced to back up. Now he's going to be in a 1v2. He's trying to run away as quickly as he can. He'll double back, but surely he falls here. Meanwhile, Monkyz going to pick up TJ with the drop. Dyslexic gone, and now it's up to Powerz in a 1v3.
What just happened? Why were they so separated? Because you should know by now how quick the Knights will move when they think they have an advantage, or in this case, know they have an advantage. And this is where they're going to slow it down. Knowing it's a 3v1, they're trying to get the information and not allow Powerz a sneaky 1v1 opportunity. But I do think this angle, he was safe, but Fearzly spots out the weapon switch, calling it out to his team. Lancer Fire is going to be there, but Powerz knows he cannot let this one go down to a 3v3. He has to get this elim first. He has the torque bow over his head, and the shock grenade perfect to keep Fearzly alive. Drop shot from Monkyz once again, perfect. 2 perfects in the same round.
Where is Monkyz in terms of the stat line? First off, Dyslexic shouldn't have put himself in this spot. He had a chance to hit a perfect shot. He positioned himself very well to kill Fearzly, Jacob, but he missed the shot he needed to hit. That really changed the tide and gave the advantage to Pittsburgh Knights.
I'm mad now on the side of EU. They're smarter than this. I said they usually play up to their level, down to their opponents, but right now they're just playing down all together. Not able to really pick themselves up out of it as TJ, he gets first blooded yet again. The 3.58 superstar Monkyz makes his impact.
Going to be a 4v3. I thought it was going to be a 4v2, but there's going to be a good team pickup, so opportunity for eUnited still to win this round is there. Powerz hasn't had the craziest effect with the torque bow as we expect him to have. Meanwhile, That drop shot has just been devastating. And Fearzly, he's got the active in, and he's going to send one flying, and Demise is dead now. 4v2, Jacob.
You see, Powerz almost gets the connector. Dyslexic founds one across, but he puts himself in a 1v3 yet again. The down's gonna come through. He's able to clean it up. Dyslexic, he needs to stay alive. No, he gets hit on the tail end. They find him. They take him out. Powerz, they know where he's at already. Audio cue, last torque bow. No more left. 1v1. Great shot on the Fearzly, but that's it. Game over. Powerz gets shut down, and the Pittsburgh Knights will go up 2-0 in this series, and they finish it off with 4 straight round victories. It didn't matter how many times eUnited tried to switch it up. It just wasn't enough, as this one is 2-0. Will eUnited be able to answer back on Escalation? We'll know here shortly after this quick commercial break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are not sleeping. You guys are not dreaming. That's Pittsburgh Knights up 2-0. And it all started in that game number 1, even though we're seeing highlights of that last execution. A massive comeback from the Pittsburgh Knights has bled that momentum into that Ephyra, and they took complete control round after round, especially the 4-round streak they had to close it out.
I mean, even Handle's asking in chat. I mean, any reverse sweeps out of y'all eUnited? I mean, look, check it out. This is going to be, you know, a big comeback if it's going to happen. It's going to start on Vasgar, but I mean, Pittsburgh Knights are just on a different level. Like, let me just say this simply. Like, eUnited is playing, you know, a bit hit or miss sometimes, but like PK is really, and I mean this, in a league of their own. Jacob, I don't know if you can double down or not, but like PK is like, they're the real deal right now.
They definitely are looking so clean, and to me, I know somebody said it in chat, you know, eUnited is having a bad day, right? That's not PK's fault. PK is doing a massively good job, almost close to perfect, of taking advantage of eUnited having a slow day. It's something that you have to control. You got to play consistent as possible. So even though we're talking about eUnited, you know, quote unquote bad day, where's PK's bad day? They don't have any. The only bad day they have is when I picked eUnited and they're making me look stupid.
When you are, you know, a pro caliber team, like across all esports, regular sports, like you can't really afford to have a bad day. Like you gotta, you know, find a way to perform at the top of your game and at your level. I don't think this is EU having a bad day. I really don't. I think PK is just quite simply outplaying eUnited, at least on Ephyra. Outside of that, I mean, Ritual Control went both ways, but it is what it is. You know, 11 points, tough break for eUnited, but that comeback was just, I mean, crazy for PK. And you mentioned it best, like PK is an emotional team, but I think more so eUnited is an emotional team. I mean, you look at who they got on the roster. You got Dyslexic, Powerz, TJ, Demise. Like, you got a lot of emotions there. You know, when they ride the highest highs, but sometimes they can be on the lowest lows. And that's where you need somebody like Powerz or whoever it is to be like, yo, boys, we got this. Like, whether it's, you know, you go with the Blaze route and go with the aggressive pep talk, like, we can do this. He's literally screaming at you, but it's all with love. I don't know how that works, but Blaze makes it happen. Or you come in nice and sweet and you say, look, boys, it's okay. We can make it happen. Either way, Jacob, you got to get them back on your feet. You know, and that's what Powerz needs to do.
I don't think nice and sweet is going to be the way to get eUnited back up into this. Like, you have to let them know you guys are being taken advantage of. You guys are literally being taken out by the Knights. And I even said it, Handle say any chance of a comeback or reverse sweep out of you. Can you imagine if LeBron James is watching a game versus, you know, the Brooklyn Nets versus the Thunder, and he tells Curry, yo, any chance for a reverse sweep out of you? I feel like that's disrespect. That's Handle's coming in here and letting eUnited know they're having a bad day.
Oh, absolutely. I love football, man. We're getting into map number 3, Vasgar, Escalation. And Jacob, this is going to be hopefully a turning point for eUnited. I want to see more. I genuinely do. First time we're watching Pittsburgh Knights play against eUnited. And the first time I think I'm casting over Pittsburgh Knights in Split 3, but I didn't know what I was going to get from them after that major performance. But I mean, I have not been at the slightest disappointed. Like, there's no disappointment whatsoever. But the breakout is here. 3v3 for C.
free neutral hill, and by that, you gotta imagine Dezonide calling it out, uncontested. And it's easy work for Monkyz and Raver. They get that first blood. TJ is gonna go down as well. Raver, the only one dropped down so far, so this one will continue in a 2v2, and a well-placed flash is gonna hold them off, and you see Dezonide, instead of breaking the hill, he's making sure to solidify and save his teammates, so that way they have the chance to win off points as well.
Right, so it's going to be a 2-to-1 hill advantage for PK. Only momentarily, Dyslexic will get the decap on the tank kill, but Raver is going to be there to pressure him off. eUnited doing a great job. You know, very well could be on, or should be Pittsburgh Knights could be on all 3 hills very shortly. Dyslexic will fall, and the fight for eUnited on A has now become a must-win, and they need to do it quickly because 7 and 6 could be there very shortly, but they do it so quickly to the point where now Fearzly and Raver, they'll split up, and it's kind of damage control at this point. Fearzly shouldn't make this push for C, and he's actually going to back off, so it is going to be truly damage control.
I was thinking in my head, maybe as soon as you cap it, give it up, try to play for the other side of the map, but everybody from the Knights is just regressing, specifically Raver and Fearzly, trying to split this one up, take a 2v2 on one side, make the other team kind of take that same 2v2, and you can see Dezonide's positioning himself to where he can cross both Demise and Dyslexic from across the map, so that's why in the minimap, again, you see TJ trying to push up.
Right, TJ, like you said, pushing up. Going to be met with some opposition. He does get crossed from across the way, and that's, I believe, Dezo who takes him out. Yeah, so he'll be dropped a couple of times, but he still remains. And eUnited looking to take one of their first leads if they can just hold on to this 2-to-1 long enough. The pressure from Pittsburgh Knights on C is real. The Wolfpack is in, and they'll take C convincingly. I like that Monkyz backs off. He, you know, kind of has an inkling that, you know, eUnited's going to send some players up to A, which is exactly what they do. He calls out the numbers. So Pittsburgh Knights are splitting up 2-to-2. Now, by doing so, actually, excuse me, they don't, because Raver's going to join into the mix. He sees the numbers. So at this point, PK, they're playing the smart game. They're playing the long game. They just want to lock in 2 hills to their favor.
Powerz, perfect shot and flash, making sure even though he comes out of the roll, it's not going to be anything he could work with. Powerz immediately gets shut down, though. That was a 3v1. He put himself in, but he gets the elim and sacrificed himself for his teammates to try to make something happen on the other side of the map. But that same elim, you see it, Raver spawning back up, extra flash in hand. So that's going to be a thorn in the side for this hill as long as it's well placed. And you can see a third player from both of these teams rotating on over for offense and defense purposes. Wow. Wow. Back-to-back elims. Fearzly, Monkyz pick up a pair. Monkyz goes down for a short moment, but nothing to worry about as they need some decaps to come through. They get the first one onto A. They need to get the captures as well, or get the decap, in which they're going to get on all sides of the map. Pittsburgh Knights, yet again, backs up against the wall, trying to figure it out, but it's not over just yet. Gets the capture onto one. Decap on the neutral hill as Powerz is doing what he can in a 1v1 to decide the round, and it looks like Reflections is right yet again. They might pull off this big round number 1 with a victory.
Wow, that is such a massive win for eUnited. I thought they were going to lose it, but the fact that they end up winning that, I mean, come on, Jacob, it's got to give them some newfound confidence, especially after they just lost to Ephyra.
Bro, that's eUnited stepping up to the plate and scoring a touchdown in your opponent's end zone. That's exactly what you have to do because we know eUnited, I said it, they play better than what they've showed the past 2 maps. But they just need to show us. They need to play like it. Tighten up, and this kind of leads into what you were saying. The start of this split, this is looking like a different eUnited. Not that they're bad, but almost like they don't care.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out how this
That's
works
why I
out.
say almost. They care.
Yeah,
but
I know they do.
Like
They definitely do care, man. This is such an evenly based map. I mean, represented by the scoreline and you know, obviously round number 1. But Speyer is just, I don't know how Speyer is going to go. So this is going to be a fun one to see how this one's going to play out. And Speyer could be even more entertaining if we get to that point, Jacob. Map 5 is still a long way away as far as I'm concerned, but round 1 didn't disappoint, and a great start for Pittsburgh Knights. Look at this. The only one remaining is going to be Powerz, but not for long. He'll be finished, and Jacob, this round is over with.
I blinked. Tell me what happened.
Hey, man, Pittsburgh Knights just ran through. I mean, yeah, we'll get a replay. It's 36 seconds. Why not? That was a great round for PK.
That's what happens. It's almost shades of Harbor. You know what I mean? Another one of our escalation maps. You win the initial and decisive fashion. It's going to come out and you're going to be able to triple cap dominate. And the biggest thing is Dezonide. He is just playing on another level overall today. You know, not yesterday, last week when I was casting, I kept saying Avexy's playing like he's having an MVP season. Dezonide says, don't forget about me, boys.
Retro's on the ground, so that's going to be business as usual, but also equal. Nobody breaking the mold just yet. Sometimes we do see, you know, a Retro and a Bold Talk where somebody obviously wants, you know, the shock or the instant before that, but one team is going to value the firepower over the instant kill or just the deterrence. But regardless, though, Retros are here. Pittsburgh Knights takes the 2-1 early on. Obviously, eUnited is going to be trying to push back. Raver full red. The pressure from eUnited is real, but, I mean, you got to give credit to PK trying to give it back, but it looks like eUnited is starting to make a break for it, and they do. And they're going to manage to take the 2-1 in their favor. Meanwhile, Dezo is looking to be sneaky. He'll back up for B. And eUnited are going to try to get on all 3 hills, but surely this continues. Nope, they're going to back off.
Let's say they know they can't in that situation. That was perfect because that was about to be a nightmare if they continue to push in because of those spawn players. And now you can see what is exactly going to happen. 3v3 going down, double downs on the Dyslexic. He has no more to give as Raver finally entering in the hill. Lots of damage being traded off, but nobody from PK going down just yet. In fact, they're doing more than that. They're continuously backing up multiple players of the United.
Target my mark.
Scoreline deadlocked, 86 now to 86, or excuse me, 91 to 87. Pittsburgh Knights with just a minor lead, but United's going to go ahead and commit towards C. Monkyz backs away from that. Kind of left Raver by his own, but that's okay because they're all 3 going to be rotating over towards A. And eUnited, I don't know, from what I can gather, kind of have a decent foothold here, depending on how this fight ends up unfolding. For Powerz with the Retro, that's going to be big. He's going to create that space and create that distance. Pittsburgh Knights are going to get peppered nonstop as they push through the choke point.
3v3 on one side of the map. You see Raver trying to interrupt and just kind of pepper, get the Lantern. It's going to cost him his life on the other one. Dyslexic takes him out. He's going to get that neutral. So if PK doesn't win this fight, it's going to be all over. It's up to Fearzly. It's up to Monkyz. Now it's only up to Fearzly. Revive back in. Monkyz gets dropped once more. So does Fearzly. And they buy enough time. 2 players fresh off a respawn. Dezonide and Raver. And he did not get the time needed. They don't touch the hill. And eUnited will answer the call.
Well done from eUnited. That's a big round win for them. They take the lead 2-1. We go into the last round of the first half, relatively even, but if eUnited can take a 3-1 lead, man, that would be something. This would be a map that could very well turn the tides of this series. And curious who's going to be the first one to place a power weapon. Surely it's going to be coming eventually. We really see them pretty much every single time we see a map on Escalation. Whether it be Harbor, Training Grounds, or even here on Vasgar, power weapons have just become a commonplace. And this was that difference that I was talking about. Pittsburgh Knights are going for the shock. eUnited, they want, at least for this round number 4, they want that firepower, right? They want the Bolt Talk. They want the Retro. Let's see which one pays off.
Yeah, last time we really see eUnited play into a weapon spread like this, Explosive was kind of on the roster, and rightfully so. That man just does wonders when it comes to the side weapons. Hammer versus Retro. Heck, even his Lancer put out a lot of damage as Raver well-plays Shock Grenade. Gonna get that first down on a TJ. Dyslexic cannot switch covers and get the revive because of that shock.
Raver throws, actually he doesn't. He wanted to finish, so he committed to the finish. I'm not against that. Powerz, though, has traveled through mid up the stairs and already had a tremendous impact on this engagement, on this fight. Great kill from Demise on the opposite end against Dezo. And this fight now has become truly important, and Powerz hits Monkyz with an absolute apartment complex, gets the finish, and he's been such a nuisance on the home hill Pittsburgh Knights for quite some time now.
But apartment complex, Powerz really is looking like the landlord there, kicking everybody out of their home. Until then, that's going to be Dezonide, the savior, bringing it back, buying them all new homes, all new rooms. And that's why you see most of these guys of the Knights in that team house playing together, making sure between each one of these rounds, they give them fist bumps, high fives. And that's why I say they're such emotionally driven, and they lead off those emotions, because once they're on a high, it's the highest of highs, as Demise is trying to shut them down. Great shot, but the numbers, Raver backing up and allowing his teammate to get the cross that he needed.
A lot of moving pieces here. eUnited, though, key takeaway. They take the 2-1 back in their favor. Things could switch as Pittsburgh Knights. They're going to be in a 2v2 on A. We do have Dyslexic versus Raver on the tank fight for B. So, matter of fact, take that 2v2, make it a 2v3. Player 5 down. TJForce back. He's going to double back, actually. Goes for the chunk just to the right of Monkyz. Missing that shot means Monkyz will capitalize, kill him, take him down. And the tank fight now very important. eUnited will take it back over. Pittsburgh Knights fighting hard for every single hill, Jacob, but eUnited is one step ahead. But the C fight, this is where they might actually break through.
You can see in your mini-map where TJ is stepping forward. Multiple teams, including the Knights, they backtrack. They're knowing we cannot be the hero in that situation. Otherwise, we'll end up just like TJ. A 0 back on respawn. Demise, he's able to get that chunk on the Dezo. At least it's something they can hang their hat on. But with all the hills being neutralized when they're over 200 yet again, that puts a lot of pressure on Dyslexic to perform here as he gets one elim. Great shots from the pistol. Lands a reaction shot, but it's not enough to get the down. Reinforcements. Dyslexic, he finally gets taken down, but his team, they have that hill underneath their control. They have the win condition, so Pittsburgh Knights, they need a triple neutralization.
All right, this fight on B is going to be important. Obviously, Shock is going to be there, deterring Pittsburgh Knights from pushing forward.
That was good.
But the kills will come through. Player 8 Monkyz is being a nuisance on C. The fight on B is won, but you notice everybody breaks away. Pittsburgh Knights knows they can't stay there. Monkyz, I said he was being a nuisance, picks up one. He'll roll over towards C. He'll get the decap. Pittsburgh Knights can do this, but Dyslexic breaks through to A.
But is it going to be enough? Trying to get the capture. He's not going to be able to get the capture, I can tell you that much. 2v1. He's just trying to buy team, alleviate pressure on the other side of the map. Powerz makes it happen, taking out Dezo. Dyslexic getting that bonus kill onto Raver before going down. eUnited will escape with the hair on their chinny chin because that one was looking oh so dangerous.
Well done from eUnited, Jacob. That's a big win. That puts them now up 3-1 heading into the second half. And we know Pittsburgh Knights have a shock, but at this point, they're probably going to be placing a sniper on tank. They're probably going to be trying to force a centralized fight on the tank fight, which obviously now is going to put eUnited ahead of the curve. They'll have a Boltok and they'll have a shock. But Pittsburgh Knights, no, they don't want to change it up. They want the Boltok. They don't want to fall that far behind. They're comfortable in their gameplay. And after all, scoreline's been relatively close. So I can see the logic there. But, man, Pittsburgh Knights, as close as they've been, eUnited, they've been one step ahead.
This is the version of eUnited I thought I was going to see, but at the same time, you know, Pittsburgh Knights, an exceptional execution team. A map number 1 where eUnited should have won. They let it slip through. But at the same time, this is kind of something you would predict in a situation like this, 3-1 in this matchup. You can see they're trying to defend that hill in a 3v3. They don't have the position on the low ground to get close to the hill, but they have the high ground to deny Pittsburgh Knights the opportunity after that.
TJ wants to push this fight so hard, but Dezo's keeping him at bay for the time being. And TJ against the left of Dezo. He'll hold his ground. Well done from him. The round obviously is going to be a long one. We've had longer rounds. Ours with the Boltok. Going to keep Monkyz down. You think Demise makes this push, though?
Not about Demise. It's about TJ on the other side of the map. He gets the tap, puts his right foot in. He puts his right foot out and takes Dezonide out of the hill, saying it is mine. And it's so early on in the game, you can see he's not wasting his time going for the cap. They're dispersing their numbers on 2 different sides of the map to win another fight, and that's when they're going to backtrack. And instead of capturing 1, they should get 2, barring any miracles here, where Powerz shuts down Monkyz to keep it underneath EU control.
Well, control the objective at least, but not the point lead so far. Pittsburgh Knights, they garnered quite a bit, nearly double that of eUnited, but 2-1 will be just enough. And they'll catch up relatively quickly depending on how this F fight ends up unfolding, which eUnited is going to go ahead and concede the fight. They don't even want it. And I'm curious what eUnited's game plan is here. They do split up 2-2, and obviously they want the fight on D, Jacob, and Powerz is going to be the great disruptor. Oh no, he's been peppered. He can't comfortably push. He's about to get blindsided. Powerz dies here.
Dyslexic needs to stay alive. He needs to backtrack. But no, he's trying to make the sneaky play and be the hero. This is what has been costing eUnited so much. Staying alive will indefinitely be more important than risking your life trying to get some bonus kills.
Yeah, Dyslexic, you know, ever since he was added to this eUnited roster, Powerz has kind of prided himself in saying, like, hey, Dys, you need to go kill this guy right here, right now. And that's something that Dyslexic can do relatively consistently. But, you know, he finds himself in bad positions. Canals is one of those maps where he consistently finds himself in a poor position. And even there, right, you know, kind of pushing up when he didn't need to, throwing his life away. But even so, eUnited had an opportunity and they took it. And they managed to get onto the home hill Pittsburgh, or excuse me, their own home hill and take it over. Only for a short period of time. Another 1v1 between Dezo and Demise. He'll cut back in a great kill, Jacob. Fantastic kill. Surely PK wins this round.
That was high risk, high reward for Dezonide. He comes out on top, and he's going to get all that reward. And since it was his own home spawn, he's going to traverse through to try to help his teammates and get that neutral. And you can see it's a 2v1, make it a 3v1 overall that they make quick work and take advantage. And it's so late into the round. That could be just enough as eUnited now, with players already down, forced off the respawn. It's going to come down to individualistic hero plays.
Hero plays, never something that you want to hang your hat on, but I mean, after all, the hero plays are being made this round, fortunately for EU fans, being made by Pittsburgh Knights. And you know what? The risk to not place a power weapon down, Jacob, seems to have paid off. They keep neck and neck in power placements, and it's 3-2, you know, very doable from their perspective. And guys, PK can still win the series 3-0, but eUnited, they're looking strong. I can't deny that.
Maybe I would.
They definitely are looking like a little bit better than what we've seen so far. And you kind of even said it, this split, they're looking more of an emotionally driven team, very, very similar to the Knights. So the way this match is going, Knights heroic finish in map number 1. Those emotions lead them to a downward spiral, map number 2, to where they're forced with their backs up against the wall, don't want to go out of this matchup overall 3-0, that they have to come up big here. 3-2 is a great start, but Pittsburgh Knights are always that team that waits in the wings for you to slip up.
Fourth round for Pittsburgh Knights to tie things up 3-3. Raver aggressively pushing onto Dyslexic. He feels like he can do this, obviously, because, well, he's got the retro. So pushing up those steps, you're going to get peppered. I might not even clear the gap. My question is, does he know Powerz is where Powerz is currently at? But that's a beautiful shock. Dyslexic surely dies here. Powerz, though, is going to get the pickup, and that's a good play from him. And now you got to really question that Powerz was right there in the corner.
Look at the minimap. They're not done just yet. Another player rotates over. That's Dezonide. They're trying to get these players down and out. Great flash from Powerz, though. They get Dezonide. They catch him slipping. Monkyz on the other side of the map as well. So if eUnited win this, they will get that triple cap domination and go up 4-2, but they have to come out on top. Another elimination is going to make it that much easier. Raver, the last hope. He goes down. Now it's up to Dezonide. Back up against the wall. Needs the break and to thrive in this situation. There goes step 1. But he stays alive. Help from Monkyz. Just in the nick of time. Back to back. He's doing it for his team.
Oh, man. Look, let's not kid ourselves. Pittsburgh Knights still have a lot of work ahead of them, Jacob. But that play from Dezo, if PK wins this round and ties it up 3-3, you can single-handedly say you know who won it.
Incoming flashbang.
But it's just getting dicey. Powerz gets taken out. Demise, he has to run. Dyslexic had no place to go. But in the enemy team, trying to go for a trade. He gets the player full red, but he goes down. Everybody is trying to run with their tails tucked between their legs to survive here in this situation, especially with such a massive lead on their hands.
Huge lead on their hands, man. This is it's going to get fun. This is going to get fun indeed. At this point, Pittsburgh Knights know they're playing on borrowed time, borrowed life, if you will, and they're making the most of it. But eUnited, they're fighting hard objectively. You got those stragglers. Dyslexic is one of them. Manages to get on E, but he doesn't get the full cap. So at this point for Pittsburgh Knights, even for eUnited, they're going to be a little bit satisfied with EB and D cap, because it's like, okay, you know, eUnited's got the lead. They can play this all day. Pittsburgh Knights, you know, they're happy with the added time because Dyslexic doesn't get the full cap. But eventually, you're going to have the pressure that's going to heat up, and it does with obviously Dezo pushing up to Dyslexic and Demise. He gets taken down, so surely E is going to be captured, but they want to kill Raver first. I don't blame them for wanting to do so.
Finding downs all across the map. Revives being forced at the lower portion, but Powerz I love the way he plays every single situation with Retro in hand. He knows aggression is not the name of the game here. It's keep collecting points, especially up 2-1. And that Retro that I've already mentioned, he's going to put out so much damage. Fearzly, he gets caught out. Everybody of eUnited doing their part because that's Demise on the other side of the map, making sure to provide that vital information as this one 10 seconds away. It comes down to an all-out team wipe needed, and PK gets shut down. That opportunity is not going to come through, and eUnited will go on map point, one step away from forcing that game 4, which would then be on their map's prior control.
Yeah, it's going to be on the map, like you said, Speyer, and that one stood out to you on paper, and for good reason, because, well, that's one that you didn't expect to be added to the rotation. This has been an excellent fight between both rosters. It really has been. This was the heroic play from Dezo. The 1v2, he was, at that point, pretty much by himself. Yeah, you have players 7 and 8 Fearzly and Monkyz off the respawn, but Dezo had to win that fight, or at least extend it forward. He did exactly that, but good on eUnited to remain composed. The round continues. They had a point lead, they still felt comfortable, and they closed it out to bring it 4-2.
I like that Retro, though. Like I said, when it was kind of going down in fruition, they kept it on the map just a little bit longer. That's exactly why. The amount of damage, locking down a position, makes it that much easier. But you see the sniper down in play. You got Retros and Ensigns versus Shots and Ensigns.
All right, Jacob, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. eUnited, will they close it out? Pittsburgh Knights, will they continue to fight back? Be shock in the hands of one of the rosters, obviously Dyslexic with the Ensign. TJ will back up. TJ has always been the kind of tip of the spear for really any of his rosters that he plays with on this tank fight. Great Ensign, and TJ and Dyslexic are going to have a time of their life just pretty much snubbing and lancering out Fearzly and co. Snipe is going to be into the hands of Powerz. If you wanted a perfect start for eUnited, this was it.
Powerz not even pulling out that sniper just yet. Trying to be the cross over the top while his teammates pushed up and got Dezonide out of cover, and immediately he gets out of there. Tries to reposition it as well so they don't know where he's coming from. As you see the marks coming out, giving Powerz information so that way he knows exactly where to put himself based off that information.
Sniper out, lining it up, gets a body on the Monkyz. That won't be enough to put him in the grave, but Powerz will follow it up onto Raver with a headshot, and now, I mean, it's just shooting fish in a barrel, brother. You got the downs plus TJ collapsing on one. This could be over with very shortly, depending on how Dezo plays this fight.
I like how he's at least trying to backtrack, knowing he needs to get the break. That's the first and foremost. He's going to die for it as well. His Powerz, once again, keeping his head on a swivel, making sure to help anybody who needs it. But a 2v3 is going to go down. He hits the shot from across the map. That's going to help Demise if he can kind of finish that one up, but he cannot come out with another big elimination. But Powerz continuously trying to put himself in position, using that last sniper shot. But the thing is, Powerz is going to have more than enough time for his teammates to come off respawn and be the help that he needs.
This is a big lead for eUnited, Jacob. You know it comes down to Pittsburgh Knights going for a domination, or at least you know two hill caps in their favor with none for eUnited. And for eUnited, like, they're keeping Powerz that flex player, you know, just kind of moving around the map, kind of like Dyslexic has been consistently throughout this map alone. They want those stragglers to guarantee a hill cap, but they might not even need to guarantee. Powerz wins the fight against Monkyz. He'll keep D locked in place, and there is flexibility to go ahead and rotate to F as well. No, they'll leave Demise to do that.
I had my eyes glued on the minimap while Powerz was making all those rotations. He was going left, he was going right, looking like a bobblehead the way his head was moving to help his team. He is playing absolutely perfect here. Years playing with Explosive, years playing with Kenny is paying off because he's the mechanical powerhouse we know he's always can be, and now he's matching it with the smart plays.
Chalk out at this point, just fight off that or bide your time. Powerz though goes for the push confidently. Big shots on the Monkyz. Actually, that was Dyslexic. I apologize. Powerz was just behind him. He will pick up the kill anyways. That was I was trying to set that up, and well, that's what ended up happening. Good body shot, yo! Just as a reaction, Dezo takes him down. However, the decap comes in. Jacob, it's 249 to 145. A chance is opened up for Pittsburgh Knights to win this if they could just hold on.
And I like it. Monkyz knows he cannot go for that triple cap domination. He has to make sure nobody's sneaking that neutral, but that puts him at a disadvantage here. 4v3, eUnited trying to take it, but no. Demise goes down. 3v3 on this side of the map. Monkyz gets the cross. TJ gets trapped. Dyslexic, they both go down. Monkyz has to backtrack for the hill. Everybody is getting the captures, and I think they're going to steal away this round at 2:49. And that leads me to ask the question, no, it's not over yet. It's going to continue.
It's not over yet. TJ gets a kill. One more. If he gets... No, one was enough, Jacob. One was enough. eUnited's fighting back. They just need a cap here. They just got to sit in. Monkyz, though, isn't going down without a fight. He's going to take the one, but Powerz will finally put him in the grave, and the comeback will not happen. But, Jacob, what an exciting ending. But the end result is eUnited fighting back, keeping the series alive.
And that's exactly what you want to see, especially a close map number 1. A close map number 2, it goes to show they will not quit. They will not go down. It will take everything you got in 5 straight maps if you want to beat eUnited.
Ooh, this is a battle now, because you got Speyer coming up, which is just a big question mark. You know, I at least as far as I'm concerned, you've got Pittsburgh Knights who have lost that map in the major, but like the reality is at this point, it's truly turned into a chance for eUnited, and that's what eUnited fans wanted. That's what I wanted, not just because, you know, predictions, but I just wanted a great series. It would raise a lot of questions for me if eUnited lost this in a fashion of 3-0. You know, it would be like, okay, is eUnited really that same team from Split 2? But they keep the series alive. But the work is far from being over with, like far from being finished with. But let's recap Vasgar. What did eUnited do right throughout that 5-2 victory to, you know, gain the competitive edge over Pittsburgh Knights?
Honestly, I feel like they did a few things right. One thing is they had team-oriented gameplay a lot of the times. Like I was saying, Powerz just helping every single person and knowing. And this is the biggest thing, because when it comes to any game, specifically Gears of War, when you have a power weapon in your hands, players think they need to use it every single second while they have it. He's not scared to put that sniper down, not even take an attempt at the shot, pulling out his pistol to make sure to win the team fight. I think that was the greatest changeup that eUnited was able to do, because throughout the course of the match, you even hear me saying a couple players overstaying their welcome, trying to be heroes, but at the end of the day, eUnited putting teamwork first to take the map.
Teamwork, but I mean, those hero plays did come into effect. Powerz in this play, like staying alive as long as he did, keeping the round alive for eUnited on the home hill of Pittsburgh Knights. That's not easy to do, yet he did it, and I think he picks up at least 3 to 4 eliminations off of that hill alone. Powerz, even in this case, keeping the round alive. You had Dezo from Pittsburgh Knights making so many heroic plays himself, but at least from eUnited's perspective, it was Powerz and it was Dyslexic. Powerz making the big key plays that were needed. Dyslexic, you know, maybe not getting the big heroic kills, but objectively getting onto the hills he needed to keep eUnited alive or ahead of Pittsburgh Knights.
Yeah, so honestly, coming into this next one, if that was like map number 1 with eUnited pulling out a great comeback victory, if you even switch it around with PK getting stopped at 249 and eUnited can secure the victory, I would think the momentum has surely shifted on over. I still think that one was rather close. I think every round, for the most part, did come down to the wire. PK did a good job at fighting back when they shouldn't have. So I don't think PK is down on themselves. And I only mention that because we keep talking about how both of these teams can be very emotionally driven.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think they very well can. I think eUnited more so than Pittsburgh Knights, personally. But at this point, I think PK will do a better job at regaining with that loss. But eUnited, got to give them credit. I really do. I mean, that Ephyra had to have felt bad. Like losing 6-2 in the fashion that they lost it. The fact that they do regain map number 3, Vasgar Escalation, is could very well be a turning point, but more importantly shows, you know, I got great respect for eUnited to be able to do that. So it's going to be fun heading into Vasgar. Now, I just want to kind of touch on that map number 3, Vasgar. You were particularly interested in that map, and I just want to recap as to why you thought Speyer was so interesting from your perspective.
Because it's just not something a lot of these teams typically play. You said it last time, was during the major. Before that, they kind of keep it underneath their belt, a little bit of a trick pick, some might say, to where you're just making a team play on something that they're not necessarily as familiar with the rest of the maps. And that makes me wonder, how much practice has eUnited been putting on this map to where they feel confident enough against the Pittsburgh Knights to go ahead and pick it as their control map? So that leads me to believe that eUnited have something underneath their sleeve ready for this exact moment.
Yeah, because teamwork really needs to be critical here. And one of the things you brought up, Jacob, throughout map number one was the individual play styles of eUnited, which they started off great on Ritual. They started off playing as a team, playing as a cohesive unit. That quickly turned into individual play style, heroic plays. I'm going to do it all by myself, And when that happened, that transition happened in eUnited's game plan, Pittsburgh Knights took advantage of that. They became even tighter as a team, and therefore were harder to break through. United tried, Powerz tried with his great headshot torque bow, or we saw flashy plays from Dyslexic, but at the end of the day, they took the L because they started separating and playing as individuals. Exactly. The win condition on Speyer can be even more severe for Pittsburgh Knights if they play together as a tight team like they did on Ritual, and United decides to break up once again.
Yeah, especially when it kind of goes to the top side of the corner hills, to where you're either going to have to do one of two pushes, for at least for the most part, even though there is a third entrance. You're going to have to go through that narrow corridor on that front side where you see the boom or the frag grenades, I do believe, spawn. In ranked, it's boom shot. I play a lot of ranked. That's one way, but it's very, very hard. If a team is set up, they're going to put so much Lancer fire, pistol fire, to where you're going to have so many downs and revives forced out. And the other way is to take some extra time and try to dig in deep, go through the spawn, and take away that position first, because that's where you usually see a lot of success, because then you're able to get multiple angles, and then that leaves open that third entranceway, which where you don't typically see a lot of players begin their push from there because of how spread out the defense typically is.
And Pittsburgh Knights, what makes them special here? Well, the drop shot prioritization is pretty special. I've seen them do that better than most teams out there. So that's going to be a contention point that eUnited's going to have to, try and battle against, because the drop shot can dismantle your setup. I don't think it's as devastating as other maps, but on those corner hills, if you are trying to break it, having that drop shot is definitely something you want in your repertoire to be able to do so. You got players who's going to be hiding in arches. You got players who maybe is going to be behind, fountain. Like those places are difficult to break. You kind of got to go around and around in a circle if you want to try and take them out. So drop shot helps you kind of navigate that quickly break the hill. That's going to be great. So, but PK does that very well. And if I'm not mistaken, Monkyz is the guy that is going to consistently be challenging that drop shot. We talk about teamwork from Pittsburgh Knights' perspective. They're going to be locking in Chapel a lot of times, or locking in center control, so they can have the Lancer shots, the Lancer line of sights on several of the hills, which are going to be, great. You got that center hill where drop shot's at. You got the one on the left, which is going to be P2 after Chapel, right? Those hills are going to be dictated how much successful you're going to be based off if you're going to have center control. You could be able to Lancer out. So I think Pittsburgh Knights has better teamwork. But United clearly picked this map for a reason, and they won in the major. But it's not the major, split 3 Pro League. But regardless, they do have success here.
You ever just have feelings going into certain matches? Like, oh man, I just feel like something's going to happen. I have one of those feelings right now, and I'm just kind of like mulling over, do I say it? Do I bring my feeling out and put it to fruition? I'm going to say yes. You know what? I'm a guy that loves to talk, so guess what? I'm going to talk. My feeling right now thinks Dyslexic is a major X factor in this map. If Dyslexic doesn't have an impactful performance for eUnited, they will not win. It'll be 3-1 Pittsburgh Knights taking the series. And the reason why is because the Knights overall, they're playing a great team effort. Everybody really playing their roles right. And that's one thing. On the side of eUnited, Powerz is going to be consistent. He's done it through every single map so far. He has some of the best stats when it comes to eUnited. TJ already showing up here to play today, lining up more grenades than a barber shop. And then Demise, he's kind of that unsung hero. He hides towards the backside. He just kind of is a thorn in your side. You never see him as that super slayer unless you absolutely need him. But Dyslexic, I feel like he's having inconsistent shell of himself moments since joining the roster. Even though he's had more good moments than bad, I feel like when he is having those deja vu or out-of-body experiences when it comes to Gears of War and actually playing, I feel like that affects them way too much. And I feel like this is another one of those moments.
Well, let's dive deeper into Dyslexic's gameplay. You say he's going to be the X factor. He needs to have a good game. In what regards? Slaying category, damage category, objectively? How do you want to see Dyslexic be the shining star if he really is the X factor?
I think it's like a 1A, 1B. I don't think either one of these two things is more important than the next because of teamwork making the dream work. But I think, yes, slaying. Dyslexic has to start winning a lot of more of his individual battles. I think when he was on Noble, that former F&I squad, he was the defining slaying factor. Combined with Toady and another couple unsung heroes on that roster, they really made things work. We have not seen that same Dyslexic on this eUnited roster, or at least not as consistency as one would think. And the second thing is his positioning. Like I said in that last map, he just puts himself in some wild positions that is high risk, high reward. And when it does not work out for him, he put themselves in a hole that honestly, he just plays simple game that they would not have been in. So I think Dyslexic is going to be a major X factor in the rest of the series.
You know, you bring up good points. Dyslexic, as far as his control stats go, he has the lowest KD for control. He has the lowest KDA for control in his roster. And his KD is much lower than Demise, TJ, and Powerz. You know, it's at 0.6, whereas the lowest after that is going to be TJ, who's at 0.64. KDA wise is at 1.32. The closest one to that is going to be Demise, who's at 1.46. So you're right. When you think about the value of Dyslexic, and traditionally from what he's brought to the table, it is truly that pop-off slaying ability. His ability to see a fight, to see a 1v1, and you know confidently he's going to take it. He's the one who's going to get that kill. And Dyslexic hasn't been that, at least in the week one, and obviously today when it comes to Pro League. To Dyslexic's credit for today, he's definitely been doing well in the damage done. So he's played that support role quite well. He's getting the damage. Even on that last Vasgar, he had 22,000 damage. The only one above that was Powerz at 25,000 damage. You look at Dyslexic on Ephyra, he had 6 kills. He had the most kills and the most damage done throughout the entirety of the 8 rounds we saw in Ephyra. But that's not saying much because they lost 6-2. You look at map number 1 on Ritual, Dyslexic had 18,000 damage done, which was, again, just behind that of Powerz, but KD-wise, he was 6-18. So now I'm going to, ask the question, Jacob. Dyslexic, we're not seeing that slaying capability. We're seeing him put himself in, bad spots more often than not, making pushes he shouldn't be making, that's 100% apparent. That wasn't apparent in Split 2 as well. But do you think that's because of a learning curve? Do you think there's been a shift in the way that he approaches fights and he approaches this team? Because again, when you look at his damage done, he's normally the stat leader there for his roster. So he's kind of transferred from being a slayer outright on multiple rosters of F&I Noble to kind of being more of a support player damage-wise for his roster on EU.
No, I agree with it. And one thing about the damage stat that it's a little skewed when it comes to some players, not every single player, but you also got to take note of how they're getting the damage. Dyslexic is going in and he's dying, but still getting damage. You have to realize that. Even though, like I said, he's putting out immense amount of damage. Even on Ephyra, you mentioned it, he was getting first blooded in the middle while still putting out an immense amount of damage. So you got to kind of know how to read the stat line when it comes down to something like that. But no more reading the stat line. The action is underway, and Raver, he's going to be the first one dropped. Not for long though. Revive back up, but TJ going in, trying to solidify those eliminations, and it's Dyslexic name popping up, but it's for a down, allowing Powerz to kind of get loose.
Get loose, like you said, and when Powerz gets loose, that is a scary sight to say the least. Demise is going to pick up that drop shot. Hopefully he can get away with it, taking a lot of damage. Dyslexic is there for the pickup, so he should be just fine. But honestly, at this point, yeah, use it. Send it flying if you will, but he splits the dividend between all 3 PK members, and Dyslexic is gone. Demise dies off too, and that's a big recovery for PK.
Wonderful recovery at that as TJ forced to use those frags. First one's a little bit of a warning shot. Now they know he's there. Second one, that's when things are going to be able to get chaotic. Some damage is going to be landed. Back-to-back shots. Multiple players weak on the side of PK, even though TJ goes down, and that must make that Lancer fire so sweet. A Dyslexic trying to be a defining force for the squad. And honestly, it's very similar to when eUnited did join that Ghost Gaming roster. I said eUnited. Identives joined that Ghost Gaming roster. It did take them a little bit to become that bad boy squad we knew they could be.
Bad boy squad, I like that. That was definitely what's, at least I think that it embodies eUnited. I think the ultimate bad boy squad would definitely be KCP, but eUnited is right there as a close second, and then I think maybe Rebel will be a third. But 56-9. And Pittsburgh Knights are fighting for position on the current hill. They're going to get it. And this is one of those corner hills that, you know, isn't as devastating as the one that's going to be coming up next. But Jacob, by far, Pittsburgh Knights should be able to come back.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have to go through the spawn. And all these corner hills spawn, and that additional angle is so important. The players cannot lock themselves down here and kind of answer forward. Monkyz is going to have to keep his head on a swivel. Lands great damage, makes the call along with Dezonide. They catch Demise slipping by himself. Fearzly did go down, so this one is going to continue as a 3v3. Monkyz gets aggressed off, but look at Dezonide. He's just waiting there, possibly even seeing the tip of his shotgun, so it could have spotted him out from a mile away, but eUnited cementing themselves, still racking up the scoreline, pushing the players a PK back. Elimination after elimination as Monkyz goes down. Dyslexic going off. This is the type of Dyslexic I expected to see.
Yeah, I mean, that's slaying power from him, right? He needs to be that guy to truly dismantle and just be a nuisance on the battlefield. That's the Dyslexic that is the most successful as far as I'm concerned. eUnited, they've got a great lead, 77-35. We talk about, you know, the energy coming into this map number 4, Jacob. We talked about eUnited, you know, throwing the Speyer out there, kind of a wild card pick, but it did make sense, and I understand why they definitely picked this map against Pittsburgh Knights, but this is the one. They want to send it to a map 5 to head into execution on Tomb. Still a lot to be played, though. 83-35. It's still very early.
Incoming smoke!
Dezonide waiting in the back of the spawn, just trying to figure out, listening to his teammates, keeping his head on a swivel where he's going to put that drop shot. The marks are definitely important. It gives him at least a vision of where they're coming at, and he shoots the first one, lands it on the Dyslexic. I think it was TJ or Powerz barely escaping with their life. Powerz gonna get dropped down, too much damage taken, back-to-back downs. TJ is gonna get the revives, and he goes down shortly after. Raver holding onto the hill, denying Demise any opportunity to push forward, but reinforcements are there in the form of Dyslexic, and that could be a 2v2 if they want to try to take it, but they're just gonna backtrack. It makes me even wonder if weapons are gonna be up.
61-83. Pittsburgh Knights have started to come back quite a bit now. These corner hills are going to be incredibly punishing. 40 seconds. It's a lot of time to fight for. eUnited has to push up for it. Going through Chapel, though, that's a narrow choke point. That makes it pretty difficult as far as I'm concerned, and even more difficult because Fearzly's going to be on the flank. He's going to pick up one, and that forces eUnited to push up, but they're not getting the kills that they desperately needed, and that should be a 4-man team wipe, and that will be a 4-man team wipe as Dyslexic falls off and TJ is off the respawn. What a flank that was from Fearzly. Great coordination, good teamwork, and that will net Pittsburgh Knights their first point lead.
And they were able to get that information because the players on the hill spotted and called out multiple members. Fearzly maneuvered through the middle of the map. He didn't see a single spawn player rotating, try to get in position. That leaves only one place they can really be, and picture perfect. They make it happen, hold on to that hill and get the lead, but we got a neutral hill about to present itself. High ground's gonna go over to PK for now as they're trying to back down Demise, and it's gonna work. They get the down and continue to push forward on the back of Fearzly, who honestly only has 6 out of 8 bullets, and now it's down to 4. He needs to find some extra shots, or he's gonna be stuck being that support player.
Ooh, Pittsburgh Knights. Maybe there's been a shift. I don't know, man, but they're playing quite well. We are obviously going to be moving on to a fresh hill, which we see Pittsburgh Knights fully in control of. eUnited very fixated on attacking Chapel, and Powerz waiting for the perfect opportunity to push in conjunction with his teammate of Demise. So we'll see how that's going to work out. Obviously, I talked about having center control, and Demise might be one step closer to having that center control, and there it is. It's going to be fully solidified. Deza will fall, and attacking through Chapel absolutely makes sense now as eUnited comfortably inside the hill. They've got center control with Chapel steps. Pittsburgh Knights are just now respawning back up. eUnited's going to be tied very shortly.
Yep. At least the possibility of being tied. You know, teams like to rotate with about 10, 15 possible seconds left on the clock, and it is going to be over on the other side of the map where I do believe they're trying to push for. So Dyslexic wins a big battle against Fearzly, gives him the go-ahead advantage, but Powerz goes down, so it is going to be a 3v3, and Dyslexic, I thought he was going to go down there trying to go for the spawn. Great play. He knows exactly what to do in this situation. Entering in through the spawn and giving yourself multiple angles is the plan and the play for EU, but he bites off more than he could chew. He heads in by himself. He goes down, and that forces everybody from eUnited to turtle up.
Turtle up, like you said. Will that pay off? We'll find out very shortly. Raver, big fight in Chapel. He'll back up. It's going to be a 1v2. I believe nades are up, and that's why they're fighting for it, maybe potentially, but obviously that's going to be the main transitional point as well. I like eUnited's positioning for this break, you know, especially with Demise and TJ confidently pushing forward and looking to dismantle Pittsburgh Knights inside the hill. They're going to do exactly that, kind of reminiscent of what PK did a couple of hills earlier to eUnited. And just like that, eUnited in control of the hill and shortly to point lead.
Sending multiple members, spawn, freshed up. Try to fight for that drop shot, but I will say it's in the open. Dyslexic has the high ground, so it's not going to be an easy drop shot to grab, but he's going to get marked out. They know he's backing off that position, and they continue to push forward, backing down Powerz to alleviate the pressure. And since they can't get to E them, that's when they're going to backtrack. Probably go down going for the drop shot, but at the end of the day, they got themselves the drop shot.
Pushing up Dyslexic, 1v2. Great angle from Fearzly. He's been playing, honestly, kind of that flex player. You never know where he's going to be. We saw that kind of represented right here in this location just a little bit earlier where he flanked around, forcing eUnited to push up, and he did the same thing just now to Dyslexic. A lot of damage outputted, but the reality is TJ is forced to back away. eUnited with a comfortable lead, 173 to 131. Next hill's going to be up. This hill was a scrappy one, Jacob, and we can already see that exemplified with really the outlines. eUnited to the right, Pittsburgh Knights to the left. It's going to be a battle for sure.
It's almost like deja vu because last time it was on this hill, Dezonide had that drop shot in the same position that he's in now, just trying to watch everybody's back, making sure that anybody tries to press forward will get met with a huge rocket that he has in his pocket. And now it's all about getting hill time. You see players getting spotted over, forcing the contestation out, hops over just in the nick of time. It actually almost sticks. Doesn't look like he stuck Powerz with the drop shot. There's something you don't see every day.
Not at all, man. That was crazy to watch. Powerz literally guiding it seems. But hey, he gets the kill, and that's all that matters. Still, though, nobody in control of the hill, and Pittsburgh Knights finally get it for themselves. They'll have some real estate in there with Raver as well as Dezo. In the meantime, eUnited kind of spread out a little bit. They'll wait for all the forces to be back into play. A big flank, though, from player 2. Monkyz misses the shot he needed, and Powerz will capitalize. Like we say in Gears, man, sometimes the hardest shot to hit is the one where your opponent doesn't see you.
Oh, great flank from Raver there. Powerz probably screaming for help, and it was the wrong choice. Raver, he gets the triple kill. Really cements Pittsburgh Knights and the 30 seconds that are left. And if they want, they can grab it all. They can take the lead away from eUnited, who now have to start thinking about what is next, the future, that next hill. And that's why they're rotating to try to take their grenades in the high ground.
Powerz rolling up, sees an easy 2 kills, but will it be easy? Well, he'll at least take up one of them, but Raver will be finished up. Powerz back in the fight, so it ended up paying off. The push ended up working, and the scoreline is as close as it's ever been. 181 to 174, ladies and gentlemen. It really does come down to the wire. At least I'm foreseeing it happening. Dezo is going to go ahead and pick up that drop shot. Again, what did I say, Jacob, at the beginning? Pittsburgh Knights, they're very consistent about picking up the drop shot, and I think we've seen that here.
That power weapon control is just so important. Doesn't matter the map you're on, but a drop shot makes it that much easier. Raver's going to get dropped for a quick second. Revive back in, but Fearzly's not going to have the same opportunity. He's just going to get chunked out. Dezonide evens it up. Raver goes down yet again, but it's Dezonide who's trying to make the play. Unfortunately, he gets taken down. Monkyz down to 1v2. Quick down onto 1. Unable to finish that one off, thanks to Powerz, who's once again saving the day. So as the Knights were able to climb back into this game and keep it within grasp, they are now being put down as eUnited are getting even more points underneath their belt.
First team to pass 200, Jacob. 203 to 174. I saw chat and someone said, you know, this is too close for comfort, how the scoreline is. Well, wait till they get caught up to where we are. It still is too close for comfort, even though eUnited is starting to take a decent-sized lead. Dezo and the rest of PK are going for the break here. They'll definitely take 30 seconds. They can get it, but Monkyz is just popping off. He's angry about that last missed shot he had on Chapel Steps.
3.58. Right now, he's sporting over a 2.0 when it comes to the KDA. So exactly how consistent is this man? It's probably one of the most consistent players that we have in the league, which is why Pittsburgh Knights, bro, if y'all don't have him on a max contract, you better not be surprised if he finds himself on another roster.
All right, Dyslexic trying to just pepper anybody that he possibly can. Surprisingly, PK aren't going to take leave off about, what, 3 or 4 seconds. We'll see if that kind of comes by to bite them. But regardless, though, this is going to be a difficult break, especially with how eUnited is kind of separated. I think their best bet is to pressure Demise and TJ, which is exactly what Raver and Fearzly are looking to do, but it's not going to be easy by any means. Now, they do get flanked, and Raver's got to make a decision. Double back and try to go for the kills, or do I push forward? Well, he chooses to go for the ladder and kind of push in towards Demise and TJ, which doesn't pay off by any means. Dezo's been holding on to this drop shot for a long time. Something tells me it's about to get used.
I was literally about to ask you, is that the same exact drop shot? That makes me think he maybe doesn't have a lot of pistol ammo left, but he has frags as well. 2 duds, though. That's got to be a great feeling for eUnited. Monkyz going to go down. Dezonide trying to backtrack. Wolfpack with the rest of the roster is Dyslexic with a great shot over the top. Powerz gets that first elim. Drops down Demise, though, so it is still a 3v3 situation. A team kill, a team down. Monkyz going to clean that one up, but still back and forth. Dyslexic trying to save the day. He gets it down onto 1, pushes into another 1v2 situation, gets it down, but quickly revived back up. His job is not done. It's not even close as he's continuing to mount the aggressive nature we want him to be. Teammates are there. He goes down back-to-back. Raver makes the stop happen once more.
So close. Now 232 to 223. Pittsburgh Knights have started to come back. They have the lead once again. We're getting closer and closer to 300, ladies and gentlemen. So things are going to start to get heated up from this point forward. I was a little bit worried about Pittsburgh Knights kind of, you know, possession of that last hill, especially after seeing Dezo with not only the drop shot, but also the nade. I was like, man, you know, it could be a big turning point for eUnited, but PK recovers. But this next hill is going to be in the corner, Jacob. This next hill is one of the hardest hills to break, right? And eUnited has a lot of real estate there. They're not going to win off of that hill, but they can get dangerously close. I mean, this is a big turning point for not only EU, but also PK.
Oh, Dyslexic is down in the open. No one can be the hero that he needs. Everybody's beginning to converge. Pittsburgh Knights, they split themselves up. Monkyz by himself with the frags. He's forced to use it. Double flashes outside of the box, thinking a planted one as well. He's going to run past that enemy. Demise, he gets taken down. That Wolfpack from PK looking absolutely sweet and strong right now as they toss and turn and somehow take the position of the hill away from eUnited.
Ooh, that is not what eUnited needed. I said there wasn't enough points on that hill for eUnited to win, even if they were flawless, but there's definitely enough points for Pittsburgh Knights to win off of this hill. eUnited has now put themselves in a spot where it is a must-win condition, and Monkyz with the nade is going to hurt. Now you got to push up. You just got to make it happen. TJ drop shot on the back, but either way, the National's going to be out. eUnited might be able to get this break. Drop shot's in, but it doesn't. It whiffs. It whiffs, Jacob. PK can win right now.
Yeah. It's going to be a big fight. TJ has an additional angle from Powerz, but he takes too much damage trying to be the support player. Great movement to try to stay alive, but TJ goes down. Powerz, help is on the way. You just need to stay alive. Great down over the top, and Powerz, your run is coming to an end. It's up to your teammates. Demise, TJ, they get dropped. Dyslexic, he gets taken down. eUnited fall, and the Pittsburgh Knights will rise to the occasion, stand tall, and take the series 3-1.
Well done for Pittsburgh Knights. They did it once again. They beat eUnited in Split 2 Pro League, and they're going to do it again tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And Fearzly, your MVP with the 24 assists. Incredible performance from him. And obviously Monkyz, that KDA, it never wavered throughout each and every map we ended up witnessing tonight. I know that loss, it's going to sting from eUnited's perspective, but for Pittsburgh Knights, they remain undefeated in Pro League. They're now 3-0. And again, this matchup right here could very well determine who gets #1 and #2 in Pro League.
Yeah, it could. And for the Pittsburgh Knights, man, that one map, they could have had another 100% day, but that Vasgar was so defining from eUnited. I thought everybody in chat had to be thinking the same thing. We have ourselves a game on our hands. We have the possibility of a game 5, especially after watching the majority of that Speyer control. eUnited in control time and time again, but there's one man who had the answer, and it was you, Reflections. You had the answer. You said it was going to come down to one thing, drop shot control, which went in way of the Pittsburgh Knights more times than not.
I mean, drop shot, that's just kind of something Pittsburgh Knights have pretty much mastered at this point in time. And I got to give credit to Latin American teams in general. on Speyer, they tend to prioritize the drop shot quite well. I've been really impressed with that. You know, normally from Pittsburgh Knights' perspective, it's Monkyz, but this time around, it was more so Dezo. Dezo had the drop shot quite a bit, if not almost every single time, and he put it to use. We talk about Dezo with the drop shot, but Fearzly on the flanks as well. That was one of the occasions where he just dismantled eUnited. I mean, really, truly did, because eUnited probably doesn't push forward as hard as they did if Fearzly isn't on that flank. Plus, it would have been a 4v4. But whether it's the drop shot from Dezo's perspective, or it was Fearzly on the flanks, or even Monkyz at times being on the flanks, or even Raver in this perspective, like Pittsburgh Knights maneuvered around the map quite well, and but eUnited in general struggled to keep up with that.
Honestly, and looking at Dezo's stats in this one clip, 11-3, he did go down 11-4. Let me throw something at you right here, right? Dezonide had one drop shot. He held on to it, used it maybe, I don't even know, but I know he had the empty drop shot. He picked up another one, right? That's 2 minutes, more than 2 minutes of being alive. Another time he picks up ammo with the drop shot. So to me, that tells me there was 4+ minutes in that match that Dezonide simply did not die, did not get taken down. And honestly, that's how you lead by example.
Absolutely. You know, sometimes we get wrapped up in you know, the KD, which is always exciting to watch, but sometimes it's important to play your life. Obviously, that has to do with KD, but playing your life sometimes is more important than just going out there, getting a kill, and then dying, getting a kill, and then dying, getting a kill, and then dying. Sometimes it is beneficial to just be on the map. Even if you're not getting a kill, as long as you're getting damage, or maybe you are picking up a kill here or there, just the fact that your presence on the map is there, you're forcing a team like eUnited or Team Queso or whoever to know, like, okay, he's still there. He's still alive. He's still flanking us. He's still having an impact. He's still fighting for drop shot. You got to address him. And Dezo, I think, did that quite well. That's a good call out.
And the way they played, that flank play that you're talking about, like I said, the awareness, they just knew a lot of these situations. Exactly. They spotted multiple members in front of them. Fearzly didn't see anybody towards the outside. That leaves only one place they can be. And that, to me, that's just so much teamwork, communication, knowing exactly what to do in every situation. And Fearzly, he played that one picture perfect.
He did. He definitely did. Fearzly, Monkyz, Dezo, you know, everybody from Pittsburgh Knights, really, Raver, they all had their chance to shine. Pittsburgh Knights are looking great. Again, eUnited, they're by far not a bad team. Like, for everybody who says they're a bad team, you're crazy. Are they having a bit of issues? Sure, you could see that with some missed shots or maybe some miscommunication. They're not making pushes as they should, but Pittsburgh Knights, at least as of right now, are truly on a different level. And you got to kind of question how much those two remaining splits, you know, really have an impact on that. You know, they understand at this point, you know, time is cut short. They've got to win a major. Like, you know, they've got to get serious now. And Fearzly, Raver, Monkyz, and Dezo, like, have been so hungry for a victory for the longest time. Dezo excluded. I mean, Dezo, what, 4 majors in a row, or not in a row, but 4 majors in grand finals, second place, 5 majors, second place. Like, the guy wants a first place eventually, wants to break that mold.
Yeah, and just one thing kind of before we end the series, I said, you know, Dyslexic is going to need to have a massive series. You could tell me if he played bad or good. 8 kills, 18 deaths, 11 assists, 1,700.5 damage. You saw the match. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you my opinion, but what is your opinion on that?
I think Dyslexic is definitely not playing like we used to watch and witness him play. I was excited when he joined the eUnited roster in Split 2 because of that slaying power that he brought. And I'm like, wow, you got Dyslexic, you've got Powerz, you've got TJ, like guys who can just destroy you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But Dyslexic hasn't been that great destroyer that I expected him to be. But you gotta question, why is that? And I brought to the table, Jacob, well, because he's playing more of a support player in a way, which is weird to say that about Dyslexic. But consistently, he's getting the most damage on the roster. He's helping his teammates, but he's not having those pop-up plays. But also, is it all his fault? Is Dyslexic not getting those big clutch plays because he doesn't have the support that he had, like he, you know, on Fire and Ice, or the support that he had on Noble, where, you know, Toady was consistently peppering players, right? Dyslexic is more often than not consistently by himself. If that's by design, I don't know, but he isn't the same player that he used to be, but I don't know if that's necessarily his fault.
Yeah, the only reason why I bring it up, and I like the way you said it. It's a team game. No matter how much that the narrative can play it as an individual. I think it was Inzam asked the question of one player can win or lose you a match,
Yeah.
and I think they hit the nail on the head. I don't think so, but it also depends on how you look at it. You could look at the stat line and say, man, Dyslexic wasn't necessarily playing that good, but at the same time, he was putting in a ton of damage around the map. He was drawing multiple players to kind of deal with him. You can see that 3-man push, even though at the end he did go down. And I think that was the defining factor of where PK got the hill. But he's just trying to stretch in his limits. And that's something that he did very, very similar on that Noble roster. So to ask him to drastically change it up right now would be crazy. I guess the best way to put it is watching him back when we had him on the Challenger teams. I think it was part of like Carnage Gaming or those old rosters way back then. I said one leader. All he needs is a franchise. All he needs is explosive, and he could be the next best player in the game. Very, very similar to Powerz. He's not going to get that, but he gets the next best thing. He gets Powerz directly. So I'm just going to put a timer on it and think he's going to figure it out before the season ends.
He has to, because he provides that much of an impact. But I don't. This is one of those rare times where I don't think it's on an individual. I really don't. I think it's just a collective team effort. I really feel like eUnited is struggling to come together as a team for whatever reason that is. And when they play against, Pittsburgh Knights, who had great teamwork today, great pop-off players, or I don't even know in the future, maybe against, actually, no, I can say it now, against Rise when they played during Emergence days, like Rise's teamwork really made it happen, and eUnited doesn't have that teamwork like they used to have. So it's going to be a battle of figuring out what works. But I think collectively you have 4 players who can, pop off and play really well, but it doesn't come down to one player. And to answer the question about what Inzam said, I ended up tweeting that out. I don't think one single player can win a championship, but I do think one player can lose a championship for the roster. If Bronny doesn't play as well as he did, does KCP win the championship? I don't think they do, but Bronny stepped it up, and the rest of the 3 ended up doing well. But hey, enough of that. It's up to determination. We can debate about this all day, but we got to give some respect to one player, and that man is Exploits, and he will earn your eSwapX Pro Controller Play of the Day with his ace, primarily with the sniper on Clock Tower.
Patience. Even while getting shot at, he tags a guy. And he was one of the only players to spot Adverse trying to make a sneaky play. And I don't even know what the heck that one was on Chaos. We'll just call that one just pure and utter annihilation. The last one, 4v1, 3v1, whatever it is, they just let him have it.
I mean,
that one was the big one, though.
Yeah,
that one on the Adverse.
I mean, Exploits, we know what he can do with the sniper. You give him the sniper, and he will run all over you. But just so many critical plays. That first blood on the Soul. He gets the snipe on the Adverse. Headshot. Deadly accurate, mind you. He connects up close and personal with Chaos and then says, I want it more personal still. Brings out the Nasher. Takes down Chavi for the ace. That's your eSwapX Pro Controller Play of the Day. And it was well earned from Exploit's perspective.
I just keep thinking back. That play on the Adverse, the most important one, because if he misses that headshot, Adverse is getting the down. 2 teammates are storming down those steps to get the elim or to go ahead and take a fight against Exploits, because that 3rd teammate was behind the Torque Bow car, not deep down on the actual position, but where the hill would actually spawn. So there's so much distance between the two that would have easily went in the favor of Abuelos Isas Nietos. So I love saying that name. I'll learn it perfectly.
I know you do. You know why? Because you can actually say it correctly, whereas us, we're struggling. You know what I'm saying, Jay? So you're flexing on us. I know what you're doing. I know what hey, here you go. Flex it out, baby. You love to see it. You got the gold chain on, looking fresh as always. Okay. It was a good night, Jacob. I had a lot of fun casting with you, brother. I really did, but all good things must come to an end. All good things must come to an end, sadly. But at least you got to see the painting, right? Was the painting not nice?
That was the best part of the night. Actually was the best part of the night. I'm a little jealous. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to hit him up afterwards. I need to get something going with him. I need something.
You know what? We had one on Blaze tonight. We had one on Blaze. He backed up Abuelos, and then he comes right back.
How do you want to say
he bet for Pittsburgh Knights to win over eUnited, and he takes first place right back. We can't get one over on him. That man, he's just too smart with his 80 years of experience in gears. Rebel gets the victory over Abuelos Isus Nietos, 3-1. Rise 3-0 over Hive. Rise has just been on fire. Like, I can't wait to watch Rise versus PK. I really can't. Team KSL, big victory over Fury 1. That's their first victory in Pro League. Pioneers, 3-1 over Casa de Papel, but 3-1 over Casa de Papel. Casa de Papel got a map win.
I'm right there with you, bro. They hit him with a paper cut. What map was that? I need to figure it out because that could be a blueprint. You know, weak spot on the map, but at the same time, they both kind of had subs, so it was kind of like a free-for-all.
I mean, not really. You still took a map off the KCP, sub or not. Okay. I'll say well done. And then PK over eUnited 3-1 victory. They remain undefeated. Speaking of which, standings, Jacob, how are those shaking up? Well, you got Rise and Pioneers and Pittsburgh Knights all tied. Well, excuse me. Let me take that back. Rise still undefeated, 3-0, 100% map win rate. But you got 3 teams who are still undefeated at 3-0. There's going to be a breaking point at some point.
I don't think in a million years this would ever happen, but seeing eUnited that far down the leaderboard, I think relegations.
No, don't say it.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
See, you're getting wild, bro.
Could you imagine if eUnited? Yeah, it'll never happen. Yeah, it'll never happen.
Not going to happen.
But
no shot.
Hey. That would definitely be a turn to Gears Esports. But looking at it, you got our top 3 teams still towards the top. Rebel, slowly but surely, getting it underneath their belt. The addition of Cardia isn't too much of a surprise that they're performing well because I said it when the match was on. They have so much familiarity already. They're not starting from scratch.
They're not. Now, one team that I do want to point out, by the way, that I've been quite disappointed with is Hive. You know, that Wichita Wolves roster that transferred over to Hive, they haven't won a map yet. You know, I'll have to take a look at who they've really played, but had a lot of faith in, you know, Zoom, Pushies, Rocky, and Red 9. You know, I really did. I thought they were going to perform exceedingly well. I know Hefe's also theirs too, but Hive, who have they lost to? So they lost to Rebel. Okay, they lost to Rise, and they lost. So the big one, losing to Rebel and Rise, you know, they're playing great, like as they are. But losing to Fury 1 3-0, that definitely raises some questions to me. Fury 1's a great roster. We've seen what they can do, you know, in the series versus Team Queso. But I don't want, no team should be losing 3-0, especially if they're even neck and neck, at least in my opinion, Jacob. So that one's a bit tough to see.
It's definitely going to be a little bit scary there. And I kind of agree with you for the most part. They're definitely going to have to try to pick it up towards the last half of the season. But at the same time, not too surprised.
All right, well, hey, we'll move on to next or tomorrow's schedule. It's going to be great. I want to see if we have any matches for the top end of things. eUnited versus Fury 1. We'll get to see a bit more of F1 and eUnited. Pittsburgh Knights versus Hive. Rise and Pioneers. Let me just stop there for a second. Let that marinate, Jacob.
Marinate? Oof, now you just getting me hungry, man. Hopefully something's marinate.
I'm starving.
In the kitchen, might have to go pick up some food because we're going to be eating good to kind of close out tomorrow. Abuelos y sus nietos versus Casa de Papel. Spanish name versus Spanish name. I'm a little jealous whoever gets to cast or jump into that one. But Rebel versus Team Queso to close out the night. Honestly, that's going to be some great matches tomorrow. And I'm going to start at the top simply because eUnited versus Fury 1. eUnited need a matchup like that tomorrow because they need to figure out what in the hell is going wrong.
What the hell? No, I agree. And I think United would be just fine in that series. I really do. We'll see if they go the distance. They did go to distance with the Abuelos. You know, let's just, you know, say that. But they got to find themselves. I'm thinking they're going to be just fine. But yeah, we got some good matches tomorrow. We really do. And I think it's going to be Blaze and calling it. So they're going to have a lot of fun, be bringing that energy and that wildness. Blaze and Colin. I don't know what I'm going to get from them because they both say some crazy things, but it's going to be a lot of fun. You don't want to miss out. 5 Eastern time tomorrow. Jacob, it's been a fantastic night, brother. Before we get out of here, what are your final words?
I'm just happy that even though in my head we got some one-sided style of matchups, that they're just continuously surprising me. I said it during the ending of one of those matches. I'm still shocked that I'm shocked by Gears Esports and how exciting the matches can still be and how much these players, not only enemies, you know, on opponents' teams, but teammates are pushing each other to their absolute limit to take that final crown at the end of the season.
I mean, I'm continually shocked. I'll be honest with you, brother. And you know, shocked in multiple ways, whether it be in Pro League tonight or even being shocked by Defiance and E-Days. Like, you know, Gears, they've got some scrappy teams, and it really does come down to it. Unlike any other esport, whoever's going to win, you know, whoever wants it the most that day is going to win, and any team can win on any given day. It's a beautiful thing. But Jacob, love you, brother. It was a great night. It really was. And thank you, everybody in chat, for being here. Hit the follow button if you haven't already. Give some support to the Xbox channel because we're going to be back tomorrow, 5 Eastern time for Pro League. But for myself, Taylor Reflexes Noble, Jacob, VVPR production team, you in chat. Thank you once again. Be back tomorrow, 5 Eastern. Another day of Pro League. You don't want to miss it.